sometime today. Oh, there we go. What's up, Drew? Welcome to the stream. How's everything working? Working great. Let me know. Appreciate the new subs. Thanks. Much love. We're 17 away now. Shit, we might crush it in the next week here. That'll be insanity. That'll be a record, I tell you. How's it going? Not too shabby. So I figured this would be a fun one because I know there's very few many spots where you can find this entire presidential town hall thing. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure CNN's trying to, you know, keep you. They only want you to see certain things. You know what I mean? They don't want you to see the whole thing. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're not going to be able to see anything, but you will be able to hear the entire thing. And no commercials either, so that's even the better part. So you'll be able to hear it straight through from beginning to end. So that's the fire part about it. I figured this is kind of a fun thing. Why did they move the live stream, the chat? The fuck? What's the point of even having a live chat button then if you moved it? That's weird. Okay, whatever. So you know, I thought this would be pretty fire. I know a lot of people are, you know, interested in this kind of thing. You know, a lot of people are doing content on it and stuff like that. So if you guys definitely want me to do more of these type of things, let me know. Smash a like, would appreciate it. You know, 5 likes, I'll go for that. And if it crushes that number and beyond, I'll definitely keep an eye out for more funny things like these. You know, and we'll definitely. No idea why they moved the chat button. I don't know. Like I said, we got this new YouTube leader. You know what I mean? And I don't know. He's making some good decisions on some parts, but he's making some other weird changes where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you on crack or something? You know? You know, like the swearing and part of like that. He eased on that restriction, which I'm good with. That was a good move. Kudos for going back on that.
You know, the thing they kept asking him was they said, would you have more restrictions? You know, it's like, well, I like what he said was he goes, it's not, you know, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger, it's the man that pulls the trigger.
Oh no, I was talking about the new CEO of YouTube. Yeah. We're not on that part yet. Yeah.
About guns. My bad, sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, we'll get to that point though. We'll definitely go over. And instead of talking over, what I'll do is I'll just pause it. So if we're gonna say something over it, I'm just gonna pause. Unless if I'm laughing or something like that, you know what I mean? Then I'll just let it play. But I'm not gonna be like those other people where they just keep on going, you know what I mean? And they're talking over it. I'm not gonna do that, you know, because I don't want to miss anything. You know, so you can hear everything just like I am. Obviously, give me a thumbs up on the volume. Let me know on that. But yes, this new YouTube CEO, I'm very curious on what his projection is going forward. Like I said, the swearing and everything like that, I appreciate him changing that and going back to the original way of doing it, which is not that restricted. You know what I mean? Where you could still be monetized and still swear, just not over excessively. Which, that's fine. I understand that. You know, they shouldn't prevent you from swearing at all. You know what I mean? Or barely saying anything swear words. I think that's bullshit. You know what I mean? You know, you should be allowed to swear at least a little bit. You know what I mean? Not constantly, obviously, not where every sentence is a swear word, but, you know. But, you know, like me, I think I'll be all right. You know, because I don't constantly swear. I just, you know, unless it's the NHL stream, then, you know. But even then, even during that Capitals game, I held my back a little bit, but they really pissed me off, I'll tell you. And I didn't give 2 fricks. You know, I was so angry, I was like, you bastards. If you guys watch me, you watch me go against that game, man, I freaking lost my shit on that. I lose my shit on that game. I hate the Washington Capitals. They can kiss my ass. I hate their team in my game. I hate them so much. Stupid commentators. Oh yeah, Richkin was amazing. I'm like, yeah, he's sticking him up your ass, you fricks. You know. And of course he got a damn hat trick in that game too. That fricker. I'll beat its ass. You know, but I kicked their ass the second game, so I'm all right. I beat them 9-8 in the second game, or the second time I played against them. The first game though, they whooped my ass, unfortunately, 7-1. So it was a bullshit game. Yeah, like what's the point of making our channels adult only if we weren't allowed to swear? Right. I mean, again, you know, kids. You know, I'm sure a lot of kids might watch my channel, but here's the thing: I don't make the content for them. I have it strictly saying no, not for kids. I have that selected, so every stream I do, every video I do, it's already on there that says no, not for kids. You know what I mean? And I made that apparent. You know that I'm not trying to make this for kids. You know, which if you know the content you're making, and you know, and just going forward, that you know that majority of the content you make is not for kids, then that's what you should put it to. You know, otherwise you could have the FCC going down your throat. You know what I mean? You could go down legal charges because, you know, that's against the law if you're not specifically picking what your content is for, you know, or what audience you're going for. Obviously, I'm not going to go for kids. I'm not going down that road, you know what I mean? And if kids have a problem, then obviously don't watch my content. I don't know why you're stupid and you continue to keep watching when you know that it's not made for you. You know? So, it's obvious, you know what I mean? And I don't want to make it for kids, you know what I mean? That's not what I want to go for. You know, here we're to say pretty much anything you want for the most part. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's certain words that we ain't gonna say, of course, but you know, but that's, you know, I'm you know, going against the media here. Why would I say that? That just makes me look bad. You know what I mean? So same here, and it's not our fault that kids are exposed to our content. It's all on the parents, right? Well, you know, and some of the kids do watch my content, and that's fine. Whatever, you know what I mean? If either the parent doesn't care or if you just do it on your own time, that's fine. You know what I mean? If the kid wants to do that, whatever. You don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You know, that's not my problem. I mean, he's gonna watch my content at some point anyway. So you're gonna try to take it away from him, saying you can't watch my content. Well, he's gonna find a way. I'm telling you, he will. He'll eventually find a way. So you might as well just be okay with it. You know, because when he gets older, he's gonna do it anyway, right? So, you know, so. But that's the scoop. But anyways, I got Dead Walker right here with us. Fun little man. I think it'd be fun to kind of have him on. Let me know if you can hear him. If you can't, I'll put him on the speaker, or if he's not loud enough. I mean, so let me know on that. Like I said, we're not gonna do too much talking. We're gonna let the Mr. T do the most of the talking here because that's what he's doing. And let the gay ass reporter do the talking too. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to listen to what they have to say, right? Or what Mr. T has to say. You know, and I respect everybody's opinion. If you don't like Mr. T, that's fine. You know what I mean? Perfectly understandable if you don't. You know what? I don't even know where I put my speaker. You know what? It's probably upstairs. I think it is. Oh, yes, it is. I remember now. I brought it up there the last time. Damn it. Let's see here. Because kids these days are becoming that intelligent. Wow, yeah. Well, yeah, when they're subscribing to Coco Melon, right? They're cheating right off the bat. Right? So yeah, so let me know how well you guys can hear him, and I'll just go from there. I mean, if you guys can hear him just fine, then I won't worry about it. But if you can't, then or not as well, I mean, then you know, then we'll go according to the plan. So yeah. But yeah, so we're here to be respectful, of course. You know what I mean? If you're Democrat or Republican, don't matter. You know what I mean? I respect everybody's opinions here, so you know, I might be curious on why you think the way you think, but I ain't gonna attack anybody if they got their own opinions. You know what I mean? Perfectly understandable. But this is entertaining nonetheless. So I know it could be very very critique on doing politics on the channel. You know what I mean? Because you got all kinds of different people's opinions. You know, like the black. I was watching a black conservative channel, and very good channel. I like his channel. He's pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's more leaning right, but in the stream at least he was being very conservative. So, and that's that's fine. But I did see a comment saying, "I'm going to leave your channel. I can't believe you're saying this." You know what I mean? Because he was speaking facts about Trump and that Trump was right. And that guy was like, I'm unsubscribing from your channel because I can't believe you said this. You know what I mean? And you're saying this. How dare you? And I'm just like, oh, fuck you. You know, getting all damn triggered is like, piss on you. You know, it's like, oh, cry in the corner then. You know, if you're going to get that triggered. Facts are facts. Can't handle the facts. I don't know what to tell you. Life's a bee. You know, but definitely let me know. Vote on my polls. I got 2 big polls going on right now. So definitely do check them both out. I got one on what next new game you guys want me to start. Got that one going on, which that one's got about 5 or 6 hours left. And then you got, if you guys want me to do Q&As for the Walking Dead Thursdays. And then this is for any series. You know, it's for Fear. This for Daryl Dixon. This for Dead City. Rick and Michonne. Season 2s of those shows and etc. You know, any Walking Dead spinoffs going forward. I'll be doing Q&As from now then. So obviously, I can already bet your ass is going to get voted in 100% because nobody, which I find this very rare, nobody said no, which I'm shocked to see that everybody's saying yes 100%. So that's cool though. That's cool. I can interact with you guys a lot more. That means I'll be making community posts every single week, and then I'll have Q&A. I'll put the date for what it's going to be, and then you guys can put your Q&As, and then we will go over them in the Walking Dead Thursdays live stream, and I will be showing them on screen too. So I'll be, you know, showing it up on stream. You'll be able to see your comment show up, and then we'll talk over it. I'll give my opinion on it and go over what I think, and then if Dead Walker's with us on those, he'll give his opinion on it, and if Mr. Bitches is on there, he'll do the same, you know, or whoever else is with the stream. So I'll make that clear. They're going to give their side of it, what they think, to answer your question. So everybody's going to get their own. So you're going to hear everybody's different answer. So it's not going to be just everybody agreeing with the same answer. I mean, unless the Dad Walker agrees with my answer, or if I agree with his, you know what I mean, then there might be that. But you're essentially going to get everybody's different point of view on the question that you're asking, which I think will be cool. So, and then we can have a discussion on it too. If you're in the stream, then we can have a discussion even more deep dive into it. You know, I think that'll be really cool to include you guys more into the universe conversation and really go in depth on the discussion of the universe. You know, and really get into it. So I think it would be cool to do that. You know what I mean? That'd be very fun. Make them more fun, and I think you guys will like it all around. So, you know, I figured I'd ask that question because I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, yeah, man, is he gonna do that? You know, and I could definitely tell 13 of you so far are like, yes, do it. So that's awesome. That's cool. I follow LGBT YouTubers that are right-leaning. In fact, I admit it to being right-leaning myself. Okay. All right. I'm center, but I do lean a little bit more right. So there's my intake on that. You know, I don't have any reason to vote left for, well, you can already guess. a bunch of factors. Biden being one of them. Your boy ain't gonna vote left for a long time. And the Democrats and all them, they can blame themselves for that because of how far left they're leaning. So they look like crazy motherfuckers. So why would I vote for that? So, but I think people should, not watch CNN anymore, and they should start watching some other channels, and start having an open-minded, because, I'm telling you, this channel, they don't like it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and not to mention kids being exploited in drag queen performances. Yeah, well, facts. I agree with that one, Vancouver. Yeah, I remember seeing that on the news. And I'm like, what the frick? What's up, Mr. Bob? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Reese? Welcome to the stream. Haven't seen you in a hot minute. When would you do your first stream on the new game you will play? Do you mean the Quarry? Is that the one you're meaning? Because that one is in the majority right now. That one, I'm going to wait one more day because I'm going to wait till the poll ends first. And then I will start it. Well, actually, wait a minute. We're going to Wednesday. Yeah, now it's Wednesday. Going to Mr. Bitch's house Thursday night. So, well, tomorrow night. Excuse me. No, 2 nights. Sorry. We're gonna go see Fast X, which I got my tickets changed. Sorry. So now we're gonna see it that night, and then we're gonna do some content that night as well. So, either either Friday evening, potentially Friday night after I do Fortnite Fridays, or Saturday. Maybe the earlier part of Saturday. If not, then very late. So, or Saturday night. So one of those 2 days. I can't really say a specific date right now. Maybe tomorrow night. Maybe. I might be able to do it tomorrow night. We'll see. I'll let you know on that. I might be able to do it tomorrow night, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, because the poll will end in like 6 hours. So, yeah. I'm waiting until the poll ends. So, because it could change. I'm not saying it's going to. It's very, very unlikely that it's going to change, but, it could. So, but yes. So that's going on. I'll also be starting the alternate choices of Until Dawn too, which hopefully you'll be able to see my face in that one. I apologize about Detroit Become Human. I don't know what the issue is, and I would have started a lot more earlier if I wasn't having that problem. But it is what it is. So, anyways, so here we go. Like I said, feel free to discuss in the comments, and here we go. Beginning to end, I have not seen it fully through. I've seen majority of it though. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear it.
Good evening. Welcome to New Hampshire, the first GOP primary state. We're live here at St. Anselm College for CNN's Town Hall with former President Donald Trump. I'm Caitlin Collins. Tonight, President Trump is here as he embarks on a campaign unlike any other in the history of U.S. presidential elections. He's the first former president in more than a century to seek a return to the White House, and he is currently leading the Republican field while also facing multiple criminal investigations and an indictment. Just yesterday, he was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation. No questions are off the table.
Awesome, good
And
to
we
hear.
agreed to no conditions. We're here to get voters the answers that they deserve. Our audience is made up of Republicans and undeclared voters who plan to take part in New Hampshire's Republican primary. They'll get the chance to question the former president directly. These voters and the issues that they care about the most will help decide if former President Trump will get a second chance to take on President Joe Biden. Please welcome the
Oh, he will.
frontrunner for the Republican nomination, former
I believe
President
that.
Donald Trump.
There's our man, Mr. T.
Thank you for being here tonight. Quite a crowd. President Trump, thank you for your time here tonight. We got a great crowd here in New Hampshire, a lot of voters with a lot of questions about what your 2024 term would look like, what another Trump term would look like. We'll get to the voters shortly, but your poll showed that you were dominating the Republican race right now, but you were also under active federal investigation for trying to overturn the 2020 election results. Your first term ended with a deadly riot at the Capitol, and you still have not publicly acknowledged the 2020 election results. Why should Americans put you back in the White House?
Because we did fantastically. We got 12 million more votes than we had in, as you know, in 2016. I actually say we did far better in that election. Got the most that anybody's ever gotten as a sitting president of the United States. I think that when you look at that result and when you look at what happened during that election, unless you're a very stupid person, you see what happens. A lot of the people in this audience, and maybe a couple that don't, but most people understand what happened. That was a rigged election, and it's a shame that we had to go through it. It's very bad for our country. All over the world, they looked at it, and they saw exactly what everyone else saw. You look, even if you just look recently with the 51 intelligence agents, that made a 16-point difference. If you look at the
Mr.
FBI,
President.
if you look at the FBI and Twitter, they call it Twitter files, made a big difference. If you look at
Mr.
True
President,
the
back
vote.
to what you just said there, though. It was not a rigged election. It was not a stolen election. You and your supporters lost. You publicly acknowledge that you did lose the 2020 election.
let me, if you look at True the Vote, they found millions of votes on camera, on government cameras, where they were stuffing ballot boxes. So with all
Facts.
of that, I think it's a shame that what happened. I think it's a very sad thing for our country. I think it's a very sad thing, frankly, for the world, because if you look at what's gone to our country has gone to hell. Our borders are bad. Our military has been bad. If you
Facts.
look at the taxes, you look at inflation, what's happened to inflation, it's just destroying our country.
Facts.
We've really become, in many ways, a third world country. And it's very sad what's happened in this administration. And it's something that will turn around on day one. We were energy independent. Now energy is at a level that we've never had to pay before. Nobody can afford to continue to pay what's happening with energy. But we were energy independent. We were getting out of Afghanistan with strength and with dignity. And instead we got out, we looked like fools, probably the most
And Mr.
embarrassing
President,
moment in the history of our country.
we have a lot of questions about the economy and foreign
Good.
policy tonight, but what you just said there, Republican officials debunked those claims about fraudulent ballots. We want to give you a chance tonight.
Who?
Republican officials in
Who?
Georgia and every single state.
Uh,
There is no your own election officials, Mr.
Look,
President. So we
people
wanted to give
were
you a
afraid
chance.
to take on the issue, but we have a big
Yeah,
problem
facts.
in this country. We have
We wanted to give you a chance to
we have
acknowledge the
elections
results.
that were horrible. If you look at what happened in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, if you look at what happened in Detroit, Michigan, if you look at what happened in Atlanta, millions of votes, and all you have to do is take a look at government cameras. You'll see them, people going to 28 different voting booths to vote, to put in 7 ballots apiece.
But
I mean,
Mr.
and
President,
they're all
I
on
have to
camera.
stop you there because there is no evidence of that. Your own election officials testified to that and have said that Republicans in these states did this. In Georgia, there were multiple recounts, including a hand recount. We have questions about the claims that you're making tonight from voters on this topic. I want to bring in Scott Dustin from Concord. He works in insurance litigation. He's an undeclared voter. That's what they call independents here in New Hampshire, as you know. He did vote for you in 2020. Scott, what's your question for the president?
Hi, President
Scott.
Trump. Welcome back to New Hampshire.
Thank you.
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your run for president?
Will I suspend, excuse me, what?
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your run for president?
Yeah, unless I see election fraud. If I see election fraud, I think I have an obligation to say it. And you know what we went through
Facts.
a short while ago has really put our country in a big problem. I hope to do that. I hope we're going to have very honest elections. We should have voter ID. We should have one-day elections. We should have paper ballots instead of these mail-in votes. But the answer is yes, and I hope that it's going to be very straight up, because if it's going to be straight up, we're going to win the election.
So you will suspend talk to his question about the 2020 election on the campaign
Well,
trail?
I guess we're going to just win. We're at a point now. We're getting so close. Let's just win it again and straighten out our country.
One other question on this. When you talk about the 2020 election,
I'll pause it real quick here. Van Cove plus the news media has stalled the results as well instead of announcing the winner in the state. Yeah, facts. Bro, this is becoming an argument. Like I said, she's gonna keep trying to, sorry, but I've seen I've even seen a lot of the facts, the proof of showing that yes, he has every right to say that there's election fraud, because I've seen proof. I've seen proof of them showing that yes, he has every right to believe that it was stolen. You know what I mean? I've seen the proof. And it's obvious. It's right there on camera. I made this argument with many other people. They said, show me the proof. And then I'd send them the proof, and then they'll say, that's not evidence. And I'm like, what do you mean that's not evidence? That is evidence. You're in denial. It's like you're in denial. I've seen it.
What would be the evidence that you would send them?
Well, I would either send them video proof. I called it on. We called it on air. Me and my parents and all that. We called it on air, showing that other countries were interfering with the Dominion machines, and and FBI's had security cameras that literally showed that they were interfering with those Dominion machines during that same night, and so they were changing the numbers to favor Biden over Trump. So every vote for Trump will give like 5 or 6 to Biden, and that's why. You know what I mean? So
Well, also, I'm telling you, it's common sense, because like some of the votes that came in were all for Biden. Not a single one was for Trump.
right. You know what I mean? I've seen news articles saying, or showed that there was trucks that had Trump votes, you know what I mean, that were legit by legit people, and those trucks disappeared. They went off the road, and all those ballots were gone. So those never got counted. Those are thousands and thousands of ballots, and that would have made a difference. You know what I mean? Deliberately thrown off the road so that way then those votes won't be counted. Stuff like that. And like you said, Detroit, Michigan. They had cameras. They were covering up the windows. They could see that they put their cameras over those. Because they were just able to get just over what they were covering. To be able to see into the to see what they were doing, and you could literally see it on cameras, that they were literally changing people's results. So they would circle Trump, and then they changed it to Biden. There's so much proof. The Atlanta one was also another one we saw in the news. You know what I mean? They told all the Republicans to leave because there was a fire, or there was a flooding going on. So they had to exit the building immediately. Well, as soon as they left, the Democrats came back, see it on camera, and they pulled out bins from underneath the table, and then they started counting them. And you're telling me that is not election fraud? That is. Because I bet you the Republicans didn't even know that they were down there. But they only brought them when they left. So stuff like that. Even my parents, they actually worked. They actually helped take the votes. So they were the helpers in my city that I live in. They were helpers, and they even had some warning flags. You know what I mean? That some people were letting them vote anyway when they didn't show their voter ID and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, so they can say all they want that no, there's no proof. Sorry, I'm not gonna believe you. You can jam it down my throat 100 times. I'm not gonna believe you. I'm sorry. I don't. I've seen the evidence. So, and yes, I do believe it would have changed the result. I do. 100%. I really do. You know, you know, my dad says if he would have shut his mouth, you know what I mean, that maybe he would have won. I don't think he would have won regardless. And the reason why I say that is because if they cheated this time, they were going to cheat regardless. You know what I mean? So even if he did keep his mouth shut, I think they might have still cheated. You know what I mean? I still think he would have lost regardless. You know, because they don't want him there. You know what I mean? So they're going to do everything they can to make him not win, right? So, you know, so I think he still would have lost, even if he did keep his mouth shut, because I think that that they would have still cheated, regardless. You know what I mean? So this next election, I don't know. I hope this time that they will, you know, make it harder to cheat. If they do that, then yeah, I can definitely see him winning. You know, I've seen a lot of people on the left switch to the right. So I definitely do see a lot more people that are going to be voting for Mr. T, where before they voted for Biden. So it's going to be very interesting. You know, I'm very curious to see what the election result would be this time. I pray to the Lord that Trump wins, man, because otherwise, it's not going to be good. I'll tell you that. Won't be good. Reese, that is true. Van Cove, and they don't want to admit it. Right, exactly. Van Cove, the Democrat Party, have been complicit with voter fraud. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, especially when Trump won, right? What did they keep saying? Right? They kept saying that there was voter fraud. The election was rigged because I didn't win. See, so it's funny how they play that game. You know what I mean? When they don't win, they say there's election fraud. But when they do win, they say, oh, no, there wasn't any election fraud. Bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, get that crap out of here. You know? Like, the rules are okay for thee, but not for me. You know what I mean? Type of bull. I mean, that's like, you know, that's BS on that. You know what I mean? That's BS. So, Reese says, I feel like the election was rigged, and right now they are trying to arrest him so he can't run for presidency. Yeah. And I don't think they're going to succeed, though. That's the funny thing. I think they're going to fail. It's going to fall on their face because they don't got anything. You know? These false allegations are, you know, later in the stream, you know, you'll hear it because she brings it up, you know. But yeah, no, completely agree. You know, you already know who I'm voting for, Mr. T, like I did 2020, and I would have in 2016, but I wasn't old enough at that point. I was too young at that point. But yes, I would have voted for Mr. T. No difference than my governor too, which unfortunately we're stuck with her until 26, I think, or 26. So. But yeah, let's
Results in
continue.
the past, you once suggested terminating the Constitution. Do you stand by those comments?
You were able to do certain things. I'm not talking about terminating the Constitution. I'm talking about cherishing the Constitution. The Constitution says that we're supposed to have legal and well-maintained and well-looked-at elections, and we didn't have that. I cherish our Constitution, but we have to live up to the Constitution. We weren't living up to the Constitution.
I was just saying there's no evidence of that election fraud. You did once
You're
speak.
supposed to say that. You know, I'm glad you say that. But look,
That's
that
the
was a
truth, Mr.
horrible
President.
election.
No, it isn't.
That was a horrible election, and unless somebody's
It's not
very
the truth.
stupid, and I know you very well, you're not stupid at all, but you perhaps are given an agenda or you have an agenda. Look, we have to
facts.
have honest elections in our country. We have open borders. We have.
Facts.
You look at what's happening. I mean, we have elections, we have open borders. Look at what's happening on our southern border. Millions and millions of people are coming in. They're being released from prisons. They're being released from mental institutions. And we have millions of people pouring into our country. And now they're getting rid of Title 42, which I put on which kept people out that were sick.
And Mr.
had
President, we have a
problems.
lot of questions about immigration to get to tonight. Obviously, that's a big topic, especially given what's expected to happen tomorrow. But I want to talk about the influence you have over your voters. It's very clear that you are very influential over them. You have a lot of impact. I've been to many of your rallies and seen it up close, which raised a lot of questions about the influence that we saw that you had on them on January 6th and your supporters when they attacked the Capitol. Do you have any regrets about your actions on January 6th?
Well, you know, January 6th was, again, we go back to it, but January 6th had to do with the fact that hundreds of thousands of people, and you don't see the pictures very often. A lot of the people here probably were there. January 6th, it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. That was prior to the walk down to the Capitol building. I don't think, and I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people, I've never spoken to a crowd as large as this. And that was because they thought the election was rigged. And they were there proud. They were there with love in their heart. That was an
great every time he
unbelievable,
says it.
and it was a beautiful day. And what I was asked to do, I wasn't involved in it very much. I was asked to come in when I make a speech. I made a speech. I said, walk peacefully and patriotically, you know, many different things. In fact, I brought a list of things. I don't want to bore the audience, but we can go sentence after sentence after sentence of things I said and things I put out. One of the big problems was that Nancy Pelosi, Crazy Nancy as I affectionately call her, Crazy Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington were in charge, as you know, of security. And they
They're
did
not in
not do
charge of
their
the
job.
National Guard. You're in charge of the
They
National
are in,
Guard.
well, I offered them National Guard. I said, we'll give you soldiers, we'll give you National Guard, we'll give you whatever you want. And they turned me down.
Your
And in
acting
fact, she
defense
turned me down,
secretary-
she turned me down in writing. They turned me down.
But your acting defense secretary, Chris Miller, at the time, he says you never gave a formal order to deploy the National Guard. But when it came
Excuse
to
me,
that day,
just the opposite.
He
Chris
test-
Miller wrote a book, and he's a fantastic guy, and he was ready to go. They turned him down. If you look, the mayor of Washington, D.C., lovely lady, she said, we don't want it, we don't like the look. Nancy Pelosi said, oh, we don't like the look. If they would have had I offered them 10,000 soldiers. I said, it could be 10, it could be more, but I offered them specifically 10,000 soldiers. If they would have taken 500 soldiers, you wouldn't have had the problem. They turned it down. And if you look at the Inspector General report, he says they turned it down. They made a terrible mistake.
well, Chris Miller was your acting defense secretary. He says you never gave that order. But back to what happened on that day.
He
You said
did
you
not
weren't.
say that.
He has testified that, Mr.
He did
President.
not say that.
But you said you weren't very involved that day. You did tell your supporters to come to Washington. You tweeted about it, about
Sure,
that
of
speech
course.
that happened on the rally.
Am I
So
allowed
when
to
they
say that?
when they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out. So if you look at, on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now use Truth Social. I think it's far superior, okay? I hope everybody's on Truth.
I'm on
If
Truth.
you look January 6th,
good.
this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth, and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President, I looked at the same time.
Well, got to go by. All right, peace out, Reese. Thank you for joining us. Much love. Van Cove says more and more people are leaning more on the right because of what we are seeing in society in terms of pronouns in the BOM, in women's sports and Disney and schools, and the numbers of incidents that have occurred in the women's locker room. Yeah, facts. You're right on that, Van Cove. And I think more and more people are going to lean more right because of that. You know what I mean? Or they're going to vote right just because they don't want to go down this path anymore. And that's going to be the main reason, I do believe. Yeah, I mean, I know. Dan on Twitter, he's a good example. He was a liberal Democrat. You know what I mean? And I couldn't stand a lot of his tweets. You know what I mean? But I respected him. You know, there's a lot of times where I wanted to go at him. You know, rip him a new one, but I didn't. I stopped myself. But now he's a conservative. Now he's in the middle, and now he's kind of leaning more right now because he can't stand that party anymore. He can't stand what the Democrats are doing. He thinks they're crazy, which I completely agree. So now we're good buddies. And he even said that because he changed, he lost a lot of friends that are still stuck in that BS mentality. You know, so he lost a lot of good, you know, a bunch of friends because he changed parties and pissed on those friends. You know what I mean? They're idiots. They're losers. They don't have a brain. Clearly, clearly not. Clearly not, because they don't see the BS that's going on, or they're just in denial and they don't want to admit it. One of the two.
One that you did.
No,
Once it was
but you
clear,
didn't report that. You know why? Because it was
we did
taken
report it.
down.
I was
It
reporting
was
that
taken
thing.
down and it wasn't.
But when it was clear to you that they were not being peaceful, you saw them rushing the Capitol, breaking windows, they were hitting officers with flagpoles, tasing them, beating them up. When it was clear they weren't being peaceful, why did you wait 3 hours to tell them to
Facts,
leave the Capitol?
Manco.
They listened to you like no one else. You know that.
They do. I agree with that. But
So why
Nancy
didn't you tell them to leave sooner?
Nancy Pelosi and the mayor are in charge. I assume they were able to do their job. They weren't.
But
And it
Pelosi's
kicked
not in
in.
charge of Capitol
And if you remember,
security.
I made a video right outside the Oval Office in the Rose Garden. And I'm very proud of that video. I didn't have a script. I don't need scripts like a certain person that's in
Well,
there
what
right
time,
now.
the video, it came out much later after they had already
It was a great video.
Yeah, not like
It was
Mr.
a
Biden
beautiful
over there.
video, and it said, I mean, I don't want to read it all, but you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people of law and order. We love the people of law and order. We can't play into the hands of these other people. We have to have peace. Please go home. I
Well,
said that.
referring
You know
to
what
the
they
law and
did?
order there,
They took
Mr.
that
President.
down, and you know, to this day, it hasn't been put up. And the reason is it's so good and so conclusive.
Oh, they did. They
that
put
all
it
of this
back up.
nonsense
The
and
Twitter
all of
did.
the tens of millions
Elon
of
put it
dollars that
back
have been
up
spent are just wiped away with this
because he
one.
unblocked.
And they've never put it back up. They had another one that they did the same.
But that video that you referenced there, it wasn't posted until 4:17 p.m.
No, I'll tell
They
you,
breached the Capitol at 2 p.m.
That video was
Mr. President.
posted,
4:17
yeah,
p.m.
before, actually a little bit before that.
Right, so that's my
Excuse
question.
me.
Because in that 3 hours, over
Excuse me,
140
it was
officers
posted
were
after the
injured.
first one I just read though, and that was at 2 o'clock.
But I think the reason the timing is so critical here, because going back to your influence, in
Here's
that
another
3
one I
hours,
posted.
over 140 officers were injured that day.
And a person named Ashley Babbitt was killed.
Yes.
You know what? She was killed, and she shouldn't have been killed. And that
Facts.
thug that killed her, there was no reason to shoot her. At blank range, cold blank range, they shot her. And she was a good person. She was a patriot.
One
There was
person
no
who was
reason.
there-
There was no reason. And he went on television to brag about the fact that he killed her.
The officer was not bragging about the fact that he
Oh,
killed
he
her,
was
but one
bragging.
person who was at the
He was
Capitol that day, as you know, was your vice president, Mike Pence, who says that you endangered his life on that day.
I don't
Do
think
you
he was in
feel-
any danger.
Mr. President, do you feel that you owe him an apology?
No, because he did something wrong. He should have put the votes back to the state legislatures, and I think we would have had a different outcome. I really do.
He
Facts.
doesn't have the authority to do that. as
Facts. Yes, he does.
The vice president does not have the authority to
Okay,
reject
are you ready?
those
Let's have this
election
one out
results.
just now, because it's interesting. Let's keep it interesting, right? I like Mike Pence very much. He's a very fine man. He's a very nice man. He made a mistake. His lawyer said, you cannot move. I called him the human conveyor belt. I said, even if the votes, I talked to his lawyer, even if the votes are absolutely fraudulent, he can't say, yes, sir, he can't send back. And the Democrats played it, and the rhinos played it. And then the election was over. They told him he couldn't do it. And Mike said to me, I can't do it. The lawyers told me I can't do it. They can't do it. But the lawyers were wrong, because right after the election, they all met, the rhinos and the Democrats, and they worked out a plan to make sure that future vice presidents don't do what I said you could do.
That's not what happened. You're referring to the Electoral Count Act.
That's
I've read that. There is no authority.
No,
Legal
excuse
experts,
me.
including Republican legal experts, say that he does not have that authority, Mr. President.
Caitlin,
But I want
why
to
did
move on.
they change the law then, saying that you can't do it?
They didn't change
Facts.
the law. They strengthened the law because they
Ah!
were worried about
Oh, they
presidents
strengthened it, meaning
exploiting.
you could do it.
That's not what it means.
Thank you.
Yes, it does.
They strengthened the law, but they
Yeah,
didn't
strengthen it, which means they changed it.
They convinced him he didn't, and it was a horrible thing for our country. If you would have sent those votes back to Georgia, Pennsylvania, and other states, Wisconsin, which if you look at Wisconsin, they virtually admitted now that the election was rigged. If
They
you
have
would have
not
sent
admitted
those
that, Mr.
votes back
President.
Yes, they
to
did.
many of those states, they would not come back in the affirmative. And remember what I said, and you just said it pretty much. You admitted what I said was right. I said he didn't have
Yes, he did.
the right to do it. And he did have the right to do it, and that's why they changed the law, taking that right away.
I should note that your campaign paid for a recount that happened in Wisconsin. It actually had more votes for President Biden by the end of it. But I want to move on to Wayne Beyer. He's a retired attorney from
By the
North
way,
Conway.
so
who
many
is-
illegal votes were cast in
Facts,
Wisconsin.
Vancouver.
And if you look in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they had so many
Sure.
illegal
Understandable.
votes, they didn't even know what to do with them. You're absolutely wrong
Mr.
about
President,
that.
there weren't any fraudulent votes in Wisconsin. I do want to get
Yes,
to the
there
audience,
was.
so we have questions for you from the audience. Wayne Beyer is a retired attorney from North Conway. He has previously served in Republican administrations. He volunteered for the Republican Party in the 2022 midterms. He voted for you in 2020. What's your question for the President, Wayne?
Thank you for coming, Mr. President.
Thank you, Wayne.
My question to you is, will you pardon the January 6 rioters who were convicted of federal offenses?
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one, because a couple of them probably they got out of control. But, you know, when you look
All
at
right, bye.
Antifa, what they've done to Portland, and if you look at Antifa, look at what they've done to Minneapolis and so many other places. Look at what they did to Seattle and BLM. Many people were killed. These people, I'm not trying to justify anything, but you have two standards of justice in this country, and what they've done, and I love that question, because what they've done to so many people is nothing.
I think so,
And then what
Vancouver,
they've
yeah.
done to these people, they've persecuted these people. And yeah, my answer is I am most likely, if I get in, I will most likely, I would say it will be a large portion of them. You know, they did a very, and it'll be very early on. And they're living in hell right now.
So when it comes
They're
to
living in
pardons,
hell. And they're policemen, and they're firemen, and they're soldiers, and they're carpenters and electricians, and they're great people. Many of them are just great people.
Mr. President, one of the people who was convicted was a former policeman, but he was convicted of attacking a police officer, I should note. But when you said you are considering pardoning a large portion of those charged with crimes on January 6th, does that include the 4 Proud Boys members who were charged and convicted of seditious conspiracy?
I don't know. I'd have to look at their case, but I will say in Washington, D.C., you cannot get a fair trial. You cannot. Just like in New York City, you can't get a fair trial either.
Facts.
Speaking of New York, I want to ask you about a significant verdict that was reached yesterday. I know this is something you want to weigh in on as well. A Manhattan jury found that
Sure.
you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this, but what do you say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out and they went up. I think I'm the only person in history who had a charge like that. And usually you leave office, you say, I'm sorry, but I'm going to back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigned. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge too. Because what's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, very nice man. She called him an ape. Happens to be African American. Called him an ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow to put that in. All of these things, but with her, they can put in anything. Access,
This was
Hollywood,
a
put
jury
in
of
anything.
9 people who found
That's right.
you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
No, I don't think so, because I think the whole thing, just so you understand, ready? I never met this woman. I never saw this woman. This woman said, I met her at the front door of Bergdorf Goodman, which I rarely go into other than for a couple of charities. I met her in the front door. She was about 60 years old, and this is like 22, 23 years ago. I met her in the front door of Bergdorf Goodman. I was immediately attracted to her, and she was immediately attracted to me. And we had this great chemistry. We're walking into a crowded department store. We had this great chemistry, and a few minutes later, we end up in a room, a dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman, right near the cash register. And then she found out there were locks on the door. So she said, I found one that was open. She found one. She learned this at trial. She found one that was open. What kind of a woman meets somebody and brings them up, and within minutes, you're playing hanky-panky in a dressing room, okay? I don't know if she was married then or not. John Johnson, I feel sorry for you, John Johnson.
Mr. President, can I know you're recounting what she said. Mr. President,
Let me just, if I could, because you asked the question.
This was a
just so
jury,
you understand,
though.
if I was walking in at the because I was very famous then, and I owned the Plaza Hotel right next door, and I owned buildings around it, I'm not going into a dressing room of a crowded department store. Then I say, if she was being raped, and by the way, they said she wasn't raped. Okay, that was her charge. It wasn't.
They found that you sexually abused her.
What? Say what? They did. They said he didn't rape her. And
They did
I
not
didn't
say
do
he
anything else either. You know what? Because I have no idea who the hell she is.
But Mr.
I don't
President,
know who this woman
can I
is.
ask you, given your recounting
I
your
don't know who,
version?
and I tell you this.
But Mr.
Are
President,
you ready?
can I
swear
ask
on
you
my
because-
children, which I'd never do. I have no idea who this woman. This is a fake story, made up story. We had a horrible Clinton-appointed judge. He was horrible. He allowed her to put everything in. He allowed us to put nothing in.
Mr.
This is
President,
a
you're
fake
recounting your version of
story.
events here right now to the audience. You referenced the trial. You did not go to the trial and actually
That's right.
testify. Do you wish that you had
No,
testified?
it wouldn't have made a difference. This was a rigged deal. This was my lawyer said, sir, you don't have to do it. I actually said, I think I should. It would be respectful. They said, sir, don't do it. This is a fake story, and you don't want to give it credibility.
One
That's
thing
why I
you-
didn't go.
One thing you did do in this.
And I swear, and I've never done that, and I swear to, I have no idea who the hell, she's a
Mr.
whack
President,
job.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I'm going to go back on some of your, so let's see here. Have you heard of the documentary, What is a Woman? Yeah, I think I have, yeah. Yeah, I have seen that. I remember that when I saw it, there was some cases that people were coming out as animals and that we were supposed to be supportive of it. That's bullshit. I didn't even watch it. I did kind of keep up on some of it, you know what I mean? Like some of the allegations, but I was like, that's bullshit. I doubt he ever did that. You know what I mean? He's not stupid. He's not going to do that type of crap. You know what I mean? And yet she interrupts him as he speaks. Well, yes. Yeah.
you did not testify in person in this trial. There was a tape deposition of you from October in it. You defended the comments that you made on that Access Hollywood tape about being able to grab women how you want. Do you stand by those comments?
I said, if you're famous and rich or whatever I said, but I said, if you're a star, you are, and I said, women let you. I didn't say you grab, I said women let. You know, you didn't use that word, but if you look, women let you. Now, they said, will you take that back? I said, look, for a million years, this is the way it's been. I want to be honest. This is the way it's been. I can take it back if you'd like to, but if you're a famous person, if you're a star, and I'm not referring to myself, I'm saying people that are famous, people that are
You were asked
stars,
in the deposition,
people
do you
that are
consider
rich,
yourself to be a star, and
people
you
that are
said yes.
powerful, they tend to do pretty well in a lot of different ways, okay? And you would like me to take that back? I can't take it back because it happens to be true. I said it's been true for 1 million years, approximately a million years, perhaps a little bit longer than that.
So you stand by those
Well,
comments?
I don't want to lie.
Mr. President, we have a lot of
here's
questions.
what she wants
Mr.
me to say.
President, let's
A
get to
rich
the
and
audience
famous
questions
person
tonight.
has no advantage over anyone else. Well, you do have an advantage, and I say unfortunately, but that's the way it is.
You said fortunately or unfortunately.
Well,
But Mr.
fortunately or
President, we have a lot
unfortunately
of
for
audience
her.
questions to get to tonight. I want to go back to the audience. We've got Danielle Rieger. She works as an oral surgery assistant. She's a Republican activist from Derry. She was a New Hampshire delegate for you in 2020. What's your question?
Hi, thank you so much for coming to New Hampshire to answer our questions. My question is regarding the economy. Over the past 2 years, we have seen the prices for everything skyrocket. From food to gas to utilities and insurance costs, Many people's bills are up several $100s a month, including mine. If elected president again, what is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Drill, baby, drill.
Yeah. Woo!
We were energy independent. We were soon going to be energy dominant. And nobody had ever done what I did. We got oil down to $1.87. Actually, it fell lower than that in some cases. We had to save the oil companies. The price was getting so. We were doing incredibly. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country, probably the greatest economy in the history of the world. We were energy independent, soon to be energy dominant. We were going to be bigger than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together times two. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation. Any other nation. And these stupid fools ended it. And energy went from $1.87 and even lower for gasoline, for a car. They went from $1.87 to $5, $6, $7, $8, and even $9. And your electricity bills went through the roof, your heating bills went through the roof. And that's what started inflation. And it hasn't stopped because people are paying now for bacon and for eggs and for the 2 and 3 times what it was just a little while ago. We created the greatest economy in history. A big part of that economy was got you the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country, bigger than the Reagan cuts, bigger than any. And also, Caitlin, also, as you know, we got the biggest regulation and regulatory cuts. This place was rocking, and then we were given a gift from China. And China paid a big price. And let me tell you something. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes from China. But prior to COVID coming in, and then I rebuilt the economy again, a second time. But we had, prior to COVID coming in as from China, from Wuhan, which I said it came from Wuhan. Everybody said, oh, you're wrong about that. You're wrong. It came from Wuhan. I said it right from day one. So we had the greatest economy in the world. Here's the story. They made energy so high, and energy is all invasive. It is massive as an industry and as a cost. It lifted everything. If
Mr.
you made,
President,
if you made donuts, if you made, no matter what you did, and we had inflation, the likes of which I guess we haven't had, they said, for 52 years, but I think more than that. We had no inflation. We had the lowest energy prices we've had in decades. This country was rocking and rolling. And by the way, we had the most secure border in the history of our
Mr.
country.
President, we have more questions on the economy, and I want to make sure we get to all of those. As you know, the U.S. right now could be just 3 weeks away from defaulting on its debt. That could mean millions of jobs lost, people not getting their Social Security payments. People believe it would put the U.S. economy into a recession. On that topic, I want to bring in Marta Cervella, a student here at St. Anselm. She is an undeclared voter who did not vote in 2020. Marta, what's your question?
Hi, Mr. President.
Hi, thank you.
So my question is, what do you think about the United States' current debt situation, and how can we move forward?
Such an important question. So we're at $33 trillion, a number that nobody ever thought possible. When we had our economy rocking and rolling just prior to COVID coming in, like literally, we were making a fortune. And oil, we were going to make so much money from oil, we were going to start paying off debt. But then with COVID coming in, we had to do other things. We had to keep this country alive because it was so serious. But we have to get the country back. We have to lower energy prices. We have to lower interest rates. Interest rates are through the roof. Energy has to come down. It all has to come down, and we have to start paying off debt. But when we have a debt limit, and they use that very seriously. I mean, they came in, Schumer came in with Nancy Pelosi, and they were using it. We'll violate it. We'll do whatever. They talked a whole lot different than they do right now. I say to the Republicans out there, congressmen, senators, if they don't give you massive cuts, you're going to have to do a default. And I don't believe they're going to do a default because I think the Democrats will absolutely cave because you don't want to have that happen. But it's better than what we're doing right now because we're spending money like drunken sailors.
So
You know
just
the
to be clear,
expression.
Mr. President, you think the U.S. should default if the White House does not agree to the spending cuts Republicans
Well,
are
you
demanding?
might as well do it now because you'll do it later. Because we have to save this country. Our country is dying. Our country is being destroyed by stupid people, by very stupid people.
You once said that using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge just could not happen. You said that when you were in the
That's
Oval
when I was
Office.
president.
So why is it different now that you're out of office?
Because now I'm not president.
the U.S. defaulting would be massively
Well, you don't
consequential
know.
for everyone in this room, for all
You don't know.
Americans.
It's psychological. It's really psychological more than anything else. And it could be very bad. It could be maybe nothing. Maybe you have a bad week or a bad day. But look, you have to cut your costs. We're spending $7 trillion on, much of it on nonsense. $7 trillion on nonsense.
We've got another
I actually
question
said,
for a voter tonight.
get all of that money that was wasted, and frankly, the Senate should have never approved it. Get all that money that was wasted, and if they don't get rid of that, you'll have to default. Okay?
Mr.
You'll have to
President,
default.
we've got another voter here
And by
tonight.
the way, you're going to default eventually anyway, but it's going to be much messier. I don't think you'll have to default. I think if the Republicans hold strong and they say let's say we want $5 trillion off, I really think the Democrats have no choice but to do it. And if I win, they're going to be doing the same thing to me in 2 years. I guarantee you that.
Mr. President,
they're
we've
going to
got
play a
another
very
voter
hard
here
ball game,
tonight.
and they did that before.
Bobby Petrino has been waiting very patiently. He's a student at St. Anselm. He's a member of College Republicans. He's an undeclared voter right now. He supported you in 2020. Bobby, what's your question for President Trump?
Hi, thank you for coming. This is a bit of a pivot, but with gun violence and mass shootings in the news cycle recently, I'm worried that state governments and the federal government are going to act to repress gun rights. Under your administration, you instructed the Department of Justice and the ATF to ban bump stocks. If elected president again, how would you act not only to defend our Second Amendment rights, but to restore rights that have been taken from us, such as, by example, recently the ATF's ruling on the pistol stabilizing braces?
Yeah, as you know, the bump stocks are actually a very unimportant thing. And NRA, I went with them and they said it doesn't mean anything. They're actually, all they do is teach you how to shoot very inaccurately. So we did that. There's been nobody that's protected the Second Amendment, as you know, like I have. I protected it through thick and thin, not easy to do. But we have a very big mental health problem in this country. And again, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger, it's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our Second Amendment. We have to protect our Second Amendment.
Mr. President, you dealt with a lot of mass shootings.
What do you think of the situation that Bud Light has gotten into? Ha! I think they fricked themselves over. That's what I think. They're idiots for doing that. Completely, 100%. And then Miller Lite did the same thing. The only one that didn't was Coors, which they came out with a good ad. But yes, no, very bad, very bad. They're making themselves look bad because you should not. Your beer should not be focused on that. You know what I mean? You should just focus on making beer. You know what I mean? You bringing in transphobic and all that shit. You know what I mean? People don't want that shit. You know what I mean? They don't want that shit. So of course they're not going to support you if you do that. You know what I mean? So completely. Give me 1 sec. They should have stayed as a neutral company, exactly. But instead, they chose to go diverse and exclusive, which definitely backfired. Oh yes, and Miller Lite kind of did the same thing, but then they deleted it. It was about girls, saying that the girls, or that the women, made the beer. It's like, no, they didn't. That's not true.
When you were in office this year, there have already been more than 200 mass shootings in 2023. If you are reelected, are there any new gun restrictions that you would sign into law?
I would do numerous things. For instance, schools, we would harden, very much harden. And I'm a very believer. I believe in teachers. I love teachers. I think they're incredible. And they love the children, not quite like the parents, but they love the children in many cases almost as much. Many of these teachers are soldiers, ex-soldiers, ex-policemen. They're people that really understand weapons. And you don't need 5% of the teachers would be more than you could ever have if you're going to hire security guards. But in addition to that, have security guards. You have to harden your entrances. You have to make schools safe. And you can make other places safe. But it is a big mental health problem in this country more than anything else. And remember, we have 700 million guns, 700 million. Many people, if they don't have a gun, they're not going to be very safe. I mean, if they don't have a gun, it gives them security. Now, you need them for entertainment, you need them for hunting, you need them for a lot of different things. But there are people that if they didn't have the privilege of having a gun in some form, many of them would not be alive today. You know, there's a certain country that had a very strict policy on guns, very, very strict.
Which country?
And, Brazil, okay. Brazil, very strict. And the former president of Brazil, and the killing was incredible. They were walking into people's homes and killing people. They had no protection. He said, go out and buy guns. People went out and bought guns, and it went way down. The numbers went way down because they had security. If you look at Chicago, Chicago has the single toughest gun policies in the nation. They are so tough you can't breathe. New York, too, and other places also. All of those places are the worst and most dangerous places. So that's not the answer.
No new restrictions that you would sign if reelected, Mr. President. I want you to meet Julie Miles, a registered nurse from Merrimack. She's a Republican who voted for you in 2020. Julie, what's your question for the president?
Plus, he who shall not be named, people are saying, is not trans, but that he's just another attention seeker who definitely is dealing with a lot of mental issues by the looks of things. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr.
Exactly.
President.
Thank you.
I appreciate you answering this question this evening. How do you plan to appeal to women voters in New Hampshire who are concerned about the Dobbs decision and how states may change their laws?
It's such a great question, and it was such a great victory, and people are starting to understand it now. You know that they wanted to bring it back to the states, but that was probably the least important part of that victory. Getting rid of Roe v. Wade was an incredible thing for pro-life because it gave pro-life something to negotiate with. Pro-life had absolutely nothing being stuck in Roe v. Wade to negotiate with. And now what's happening, and I see it all over, deals are being made, deals are going to be made, and look, everybody that was president wanted to get rid and tried to get rid of Roe v. Wade.
You mean
for 50
Republicans?
years. Republicans. For 50 years, this has been going on, actually a couple of Democrats too, but for 50 years, this has been going on. I was able to do it, and I was very honored to do it, but by doing it, things are happening that are very, very positive. And I happen to believe in the exceptions.
Exactly,
Life of the mother, rape, incest, like Ronald Reagan believed in the exceptions, but I happen to believe that. I think it's frankly important to do that, but a lot of people are, against that. A relatively small number, but the way I look, I think it's very important to say this. I consider the other side to be radical because the other side, under Roe v. Wade and other things, the other side, they're radical because they will. Remember the debate with Hillary Clinton? They said, rip the baby out of the womb at the end of the 9th month. They will kill the baby in the 9th month. If you look at that crazy governor of Virginia from the former governor, where he said, no, the baby won't be born, and then we'll decide essentially whether or not to execute
But
the
Mr.
baby.
President, can we talk about what you would do if
No,
you
but these are the
if you
radical people.
reelected?
It's not the pro-life people that are
But
radical.
if you are reelected and you're back in the Oval Office and you get legislation to your desk, would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
What I'll do is negotiate so that people are happy. But the fact that I was able, I'm so proud of it. We put 3 great justices on the Supreme Court. We have almost 300 federal judges on the Supreme Court.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, you would sign a federal abortion ban into law.
I said this. I want to do what's right, and we're looking, and we want to do what's right for everybody.
But what's right?
But now, for the first time, the people that are pro-life have negotiating capability because you didn't have it before. They could kill the baby in the 9th month or after the baby was born. Now they won't be able to do that.
But I think this is a really important question for you to answer because this is something every Republican, including those who are running against you for the nomination, are being asked about is would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
And many of them are going to give you the same answer as First of all, I am honored to have done what I did. And a lot of people said, in 150 years, he's now the most consequential president because he saved so many lives. And I'm honored to have done it. And because of what I've done, we now have a great negotiating ability. That's what I do in life. I negotiate. We have a great negotiating ability, and I think we're going to be able to get
But what do you
something
mean
done.
negotiating ability? Because the question that Republicans have, and some of your allies on Capitol Hill said they want to introduce legislation when it comes to banning abortion. If they send it to your desk, would you sign it?
Some people are at 6 weeks. Some people are at 3 weeks,
Where's
2
President
weeks.
Trump?
President Trump is going to make a determination what he thinks is great for the country and what's fair for the country. But the fact that I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade after 50 years of trying, they worked for 50 years. I've never seen anything like it. They worked, and I was so honored to have done it. We are in a very good negotiating position right now, only because of what I was able to do. And remember this, again, you talk about radicalism. People that will kill a baby in the 9th month or the 8th month or the 7th month or after the baby is born, they're the radicals, not the pro-life.
I just want to give you one more chance, though, because you did not answer whether or not you'd sign a federal abortion ban or how many weeks into pregnancy you believe abortion should be banned.
Yeah, but I've
Can you
given
answer either
I've
of those
given you
tonight?
the answer probably 4 times already.
Which
I'm
one?
looking
You haven't
at a solution that's going to work. Very complex
Gave you
issue
it
for
4
the country.
times.
You have people on both sides of an issue, but we are now in a very strong position. Pro-life people are in a strong position to make a deal that's going to be good and going to be satisfactory for them. If you weren't able to get rid of, you wouldn't be having a discussion. If you weren't able to get rid of Roe v. Wade, which put pro-life in a dead position, a horrible position. They could kill the baby at any time they wanted to, but we did something that nobody thought was doable. And other Republican presidents, and others, by the way, they wanted to get it out. They also wanted to bring it back to the states, but bringing it back to the states is a less important issue
But that's why
than
it's
the
the
issue that
question
we
about a
just talked
federal
about.
abortion ban. You did not say yes or no to that.
It
You did not
depends
say how many
depends
weeks.
what the deal is. Lindsey Graham's
You did not
a
say how
good
many
man.
weeks.
He's got an idea, and a lot of other people have an idea. And I look at all the
And a lot of
different
people will
ideas,
be
and
curious what
I'll
your
make the right
idea is on
decision.
that. President Trump, we've got more questions to come for you tonight.
I'll
We'll
make
be
the right
right back
decision for the
in just a moment.
That's his answer, lady. You stupid. That's his answer. He's gonna come up with an idea. He's gonna come up with the best approach,
Welcome back to CNN's Republican Presidential Town Hall.
which is a smart answer. He's saying he's staying neutral. He's not gonna give you an answer right now, which is smart. He shouldn't. Otherwise, you're gonna be divisive. You know what I mean? You're only gonna have, you know what I mean? He's trying to stay neutral, so that way then everybody, you know. So you saying yes or no, he's not gonna give you a yes or no answer because he wants to figure out what the best solution is in that circumstance. I see it, but she's a dumbass, you know. She don't see it.
Donald Trump. President Trump would like to meet Jennifer Simmons. She is a stay-at-home mom and former town selectman from Wyndham. She's a Republican and she voted for you in 2020. Jennifer, what's your question tonight?
Good evening, Mr. President. Title 42 is expected to expire tomorrow. Our southern border and now our northern border are experiencing record migration. We learned on May 2nd that the Biden administration plans on deploying 1,500 troops to the southern border. Do you agree with deploying troops to the border, and how will a Trump administration slow down the rate of migrants coming across all our borders?
Sure. A very fair question, especially since tomorrow is going to be a day of infamy. You're going to have tens of thousands of people pouring into our country. Even the judge overruled them when they wanted to terminate it early. And he said, that you better extend this thing. The judge in Texas said, I hope you're going to extend this. But this is my policy that they're letting terminate because they lost in court. They wanted to go earlier. You're going to have millions of people pouring into our country right now at a level that nobody's ever seen before. These people are sick. Anybody that wants this to happen to our country, they're destroying our country, and this should not be allowed to happen. How they're not going to do a version of Title 42 or my Title 42, which was tough. If people are sick and have infectious diseases and lots of other problems, we don't want them being into our country. We have enough problems right now. We have problems like we've never had in the history of our country.
But Mr. President,
our country
the
is
reason
being
it's ending,
destroyed.
the reason it's ending is because the health policy, the COVID era pandemic emergency is coming to an end. That's what Title 42 was. You put it in place because
That's
of COVID.
true, but
When it comes to big questions about what your immigration policy would look like if you are reelected, some of your Republican rivals have criticized you for not fulfilling the promises that you made on the campaign trail, like finishing the border wall. So how did voters know that you would get those done if you're reelected?
I did finish the wall. I built a wall. I
You
built
didn't build the
hundreds
wall.
of miles of wall.
Yes, you
and
did.
I finished it. And then I said, we have to build some more because there are areas like water going through a dam. There are some areas where a lot of people are coming. You close up one and they come into another. And we started another 100 miles of wall. In fact, I said to my people, if we start this and don't finish it, and then we had a rigged election, I'm sorry to say it.
The election was not rigged,
oh, okay,
Mr.
good, I
President.
know.
You
I-
can't
I
keep
will-
saying that all night long.
And so
You cannot
then
keep saying
they
that the
took
election
over
was
and they
rigged.
decided not to finish it. It would have taken them 3 weeks. I built hundreds of miles of wall. If we didn't have it, it would be hard to believe it could be any worse. They're just letting people flow into our country. Look, a country has to have borders. There's never been anything like is happening to our country
You
right
built
now.
about 52 miles of new wall when you were in office,
It is.
Mr. President. It wasn't the complete wall. One other thing that with
No, but I have to
immigration,
respond to that.
with your immigration, it was only about
Okay,
52
can I
miles of
respond?
new wall.
This is what she does. I built hundreds of miles. Some of the wall was up there, and it would be laying on the ground, rusted, rotten steel, rusted, rotten wood, a little. And what the radical left, crazy Democrats did, if there's a piece of wood laying down, they consider that a wall. I built 30-foot walls that go down 7 feet into the ground. If there was a little piece of wood sitting in the ground, they said, oh, he's not building a wall. We already had a wall. Because this is the game. They're a party of disinformation.
It's not a
They-
game, Mr. President. It's about 52 miles of new wall. One other immigration policy you
I
had
built
when you were
new
in
wall.
office.
I built new wall.
52 miles,
For hundreds of
according to
miles.
CBP, Mr.
What I
President.
did is I replaced other wall that was laying down, that was up
Facts.
and rotting in the ground for 30 years. Some of it was steel that you couldn't
Mr.
even
President,
see.
it was only about 52 miles of new wall, but moving on, another immigration policy you had was the zero tolerance immigration policy that separated families at the border. If you are reelected, are you ruling out instituting that?
Well, when you have that policy, people don't come. If a family hears that they're going to be separated, they love their family. They don't come. So I know it sounds harsh, but if you remember they said I was building prisons for children. It turned out that it was Obama that was building
But
the
would you
prisons for the
re-implement
children.
that if you're reelected? Is
Well,
that what you're
here's
saying?
we have to save our country, all right? We
So it
can't
sounds like
afford,
that's a yes.
you know. When you say to a family that if you come, we're going to break you up, they don't come. And we can't afford to have any more. Look at New York City. Look what's happening. They're living in Central Park in New York City. The city is being swamped. Los Angeles is being swamped. Iowa is being swamped. Our whole country is being destroyed. Millions of people are coming into our country. And you know what the number is going to be, in my opinion, by the end of the year? Not the 4 million that you hear, and the 3 million. I think it's going to be 15 million people. And in these people, they have no idea where they come from. They come from 129 different countries so far. 120,
Mr.
not just
President,
the 4 that we talked
just to
about.
put a button on that, it sounds like what you're saying is that you're not ruling out re-implementing that immigration policy. I want to get to another voter. Caitlin Boissonneau is a student here at St. Anselm College. She's a Republican. This will be the first election that she has voted in. What's her question for the president, Caitlin?
Hello, President Trump. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important. Because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it to start off. No longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened. And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened. And his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened. But this
Which
would never
Democrats
happen.
say that,
And
Mr.
all those
President?
dead people, both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today. And all those cities that are blown up and disintegrated right to the ground, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, now, here's the problem. We've given so far $171 billion. They've given, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy. They've given about 20. So we're at 170, let's say, and they're at 20. You don't have to know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay? So they've got to put up a lot more money because they're taking advantage of us like every other country did. That's why I ended NAFTA and replaced it with the USMCA, Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected? What's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax #1 when he said,
Right. These plans take time to go over terms of whichever is the best strategy to serve the people. Exactly, Van Cove. Exactly, 100%. I wanted to read your comment there because you're 100% right.
the president didn't do anything wrong. So
That
I
was when you
happened to
asked
like,
for an
so I
investigation in
happened to
exchange
like,
for
yeah, that's right.
weapons.
And I was totally exonerated, by the way, just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that. You were impeached.
It doesn't mean anything.
Topic here, Mr. President, because the question is, would
It doesn't
you give
mean
Ukraine
anything.
weapons
I was
and funding?
impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy
But the
Pelosi.
question here is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I would
elected?
sit down, let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in one day?
Because I'll meet with Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be
Do
absolutely
you
over.
want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down.
Facts.
Now,
What do you, can I just follow up on that? You said you don't
The
think in
audience.
terms of
What
winning
you have
and
to get
losing.
you have
Mr.
to get
President, can I
Europe.
just follow up on that, because that's a really important
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that you
just
just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying.
Facts.
Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win. You
know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and
But
they
that's not
should
an
be,
answer about who
and they
should
should
win the war.
equalize. They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO.
But I'm
When I
asking you
sat
about
down, I got
Ukraine
them
right
to
now,
put up
Mr.
hundreds
President.
of billions of dollars that they weren't paying under Obama and Bush and all of these other presidents. That's why they're able to help them fight the war because of the money I got. But I
let's
want
talk about
Europe.
what's happening in
Excuse
Ukraine,
me.
Mr.
I want
President.
Europe to put up more money because they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of jerks. We're spending $170 billion for faraway land, and they're right next door to that land, and they're in for 20. I don't think so.
When it comes to what's happening there, when you were in office, you said that you
Facts.
respected President Putin. Do
Yeah, I
you
do.
still respect him today?
He made a tremendous mistake. He was a smart guy, you know. I remember I said he was smart, she was smart. They
What
said
was his
he
mistake?
said President Xi of China, right, is smart. Okay, 1.5 billion people. He's the ruler of 1.5 billion people. I said, yeah, he's a smart guy. How dare he say he's smart? Of course he's smart. They want you to say he's a stupid person. Okay, he's not a stupid person. He's very smart. He's very cunning. And Putin made a bad mistake, in my opinion.
What was his mistake?
His mistake was going in. He would have never gone in if I was president. We used to talk about it there.
Do you believe that he is a war criminal?
What?
Do you believe that Putin is a war criminal? He's responsible for the deaths of thousands
Well,
of
I think
Ukrainian
this.
men
I
and
think
women
it's
and
something
civilian
that
children.
should not be discussed now. It should be discussed later. Because right now we have to get a war. If you say he's a war criminal, it's going to be a lot tougher to make a deal to get this thing stopped. Because if he's going to be a war criminal, where people are going to go and grab him and execute him, he's going to fight a lot harder than he's fighting, you know, under the other circumstance. That's something to be discussed at a later date.
Isn't it
Right now,
important
we
to
want
call
to
it
get
what
that
it
war
is?
settled. And I'm not talking about the money either. I'm talking about all the lives that are being, the number of people being killed in that war is far greater than you're hearing. When they blow up a city and those buildings come pouring down and then they say 2 people were injured, no, hundreds and thousands of people are being killed. And we have to get that war settled.
We have more with former President Trump. Right after this, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with questions from voters right after that.
It's great, no commercials. It just skips right to the next part.
CNN's Republican presidential town hall with former President Trump. President Trump, we have a lot more voters' questions I should note in here in New Hampshire to get to, but I also want to talk about some of the other investigations that you're facing. We talked about others at the top, but one of those is the special counsel's investigation into classified documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago. Why did you take those documents with you when you left the White House?
I had every right to under the Presidential Records Act. You have the Presidential Records Act. I was there and I took what I took, and it gets declassified. Biden, on the other hand, he has 1,850 boxes. He had boxes sent to Chinatown, where they don't speak even English in that Chinatown we're talking about.
I got to stop you right there because
they talk about us. Just so you understand, I had every right to do it. I didn't make a secret of it. You know, the boxes were stationed outside of the White House. People were taking pictures of the GSA and the various people.
I got to stop you right there, though, because the Presidential Records Act, which is not well known to a lot of people, I read it. It does not say that you can take documents with you. It says actually that they are the property of the federal
government. It says you talk, you negotiate, you make a deal. It's not criminal, by the way. The Presidential Records Act is not criminal. And
yes, it does.
It's not that you can negotiate to take the documents with you.
Can I tell you? Just so you understand, the Presidential Records Act is not criminal. I took the documents I'm allowed to. You know who else took them? Obama took them. Nixon took them. Reagan took them. Oh, he didn't?
The difference here that I'd like to know.
Reagan
National
took them.
Archives says that President Obama
Even Jimmy Carter.
Yes, he
Mike
did.
Pence had some documents, and he's a very honorable guy.
You referenced
But you know
Biden.
who took them more than anybody is Joe Biden. He has 1,800 boxes. And
Facts.
nobody even knows where they are.
Facts. How would you know, lady? You weren't there.
Mr. President,
And they
it's not
put
accurate.
a rough guy on us, and they, in the
I think it's
meantime, they have
important, Mr.
nobody.
President, to actually set the record straight here. They took documents, including President or Vice President Pence, when they realized
See, that's
they
why
had
she's
documents,
stumbling.
they turned them back over. The difference is that you waited to turn yours over, and it was a year and a half effort that included a subpoena
False.
with those documents. One question about
It
what happened
included
when
a
you
raid
had those
on my
documents.
house. That's what it included.
But
They didn't raid.
you'd gotten a
they didn't
subpoena
raid
and they had not
Biden's
been
house.
turned over yet.
They didn't raid Biden's house. You know what happened? They put him in the house. That's the one with the Corvette, where the documents were laying all over the floor. That was fine. And you know who happens to be at Mar-a-Lago? Secret Service, and they're phenomenal. I have Secret Service. He didn't have Secret Service. The other thing, the Vice President cannot declassify. He didn't have the right to declassify. He has documents from when he was a senator. And even Democrat senators say, I can't believe it. No, I went by the Presidential Records Act,
That's not
and
what
we
the
were
Presidential
negotiating.
Records Act
Yes, it
says.
does.
That's not what it says,
And
Mr.
NARA
President.
has
Yes,
just
it
played a
does.
thing called the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights because they consider them
Mr.
dangerous
President, that's not what it
documents.
says,
Those are
and
the people we're dealing with.
I should note that there is a special counsel investigating your document situation, also President Biden's document situation. When it comes to your documents, did you ever show those classified documents to anyone?
Not really. I would have the right to. By the way, they were
What do you mean, not
declassified after.
really?
Not that I can think of. Let me just tell you, I have the absolute right to do whatever I want with them. I have the right. I was negotiating with NARA. Do you know what NARA is?
The National Archives.
Extremely
But you don't
left
negotiate
group
with
of
them.
people. Extremely left. And I was negotiating with
They're
them.
not
All of a
left,
sudden,
they're
they
bipartisan.
raided my house. They didn't raid the house of Joe
They're not
Biden.
left.
They didn't raid Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore a subpoena to get those documents back like
Joe
you did.
Biden
And so
took
that's the question.
1,850 boxes.
But that's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return
Are you
them.
ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
You
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to
That's
answer.
why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Can you answer why you
Very
held on to the
I was
documents?
negotiating, and we were talking to NARA, that's Washington, to bring whatever they want. They can have whatever they want. When we left Washington, we had the boxes lined up on the sidewalk outside for everybody. People are taking pictures of them. Everybody knew we were taking those boxes. And the GSA, Government Service, the GSA was the one taking them. They brought them down to Mar-a-Lago. We were negotiating with NARA. All of a sudden, they raid our house. When Biden had his documents, he won't give back the 1,850 boxes. And you're going to find some real gems in there.
But it was
So
Biden
you
who
can't have
alerted
all
them that
these
he had the
different sets of-
documents.
all
The
these
National
different
Archives
sets of-
reached out to you to get your documents back. Why did you not turn them over when you got a subpoena
Because we were
asking for you to turn
negotiating
them
with
over?
them. We were negotiating with them as per as per the Presidential Records Act. We were negotiating with NARA.
That's not what
Very
the
nice
Presidential Records
people,
Act says. I've
but they
seen
gotta
it.
love our Constitution a little bit more, because, and they shouldn't red flag it, by the way. Very nice people. We were negotiating with NARA, and that's what the Presidential Records Act says, because Richard Nixon, surprisingly, had problems, and he had a lot of problems dealing with NARA, and they ended up passing
that's why
legislation
they
called the
created it,
Presidential
right?
Records Act, just for this kind of a thing. We were
My
dealing
last
with them,
question
we were
on this
talking,
on
excuse
this
me, wait a
subject,
minute,
Mr.
wait.
President.
We were talking to them, we would have done it, but all of a sudden they raided the house. Now, why hasn't the FBI raided Biden?
But I just explained to you
Why?
why.
No.
It's because they alerted the
1,850
government that they
okay.
had those documents and had them come and get the documents
Why
from
did
his
Biden-
house.
no, they
My
didn't take
question
them.
for you, though, when it comes to documents, do you still have any classified documents in your possession?
Are you ready?
Do you?
No, I don't have anything. I have no classified documents. And by the way, they become automatically declassified when I took them. But
No, you have
why?
to declassify
Let me ask
them.
you a question. Why is it that Biden had 9 boxes in Chinatown? And he gets a lot of money from China. Why is that? And
There
why,
is no
why
evidence of
aren't
that,
people?
Mr. President.
Yes,
No,
there
you-
is.
Why aren't
There
people
is no
bringing that
evidence
up?
of that.
There
Mr.
is,
President.
but you won't cover it, and you
It's
act like it doesn't
relevant.
exist.
Of thugs.
Mr.
Why don't
President-
they put him in charge of that?
I need to stop you right there because there's no evidence of what you just
Well,
said.
shit
there. What
on
you're
that.
referring to, there was an office that he had
No,
after
that's
leaving
at the
the
University
vice
of Pennsylvania.
presidency.
Well-
He had a temporary office. But I want to ask you about another investigation
You're so
that you're
wrong.
facing.
You don't know the subject.
I do know the
He
subject.
had
I
No,
want
you
to
don't.
know the
University of
facts, Mr.
Pennsylvania,
President.
but he also
I
had
want
9
to move on to
boxes
another
in
investigation that
Chinatown.
you're facing, which is the one that's
doesn't
happening
understand.
in Georgia, where they are investigating your efforts to overturn the election results in the state of Georgia.
did
At the
nothing wrong. It was
center
a
of
perfect
that,
phone call.
let me finish my question. At the center of that is that call that you had with the Secretary of
Perfect
State,
call.
Brad Raffensperger.
Yeah, sure.
Given the fact that there are indictments expected to come in that case this summer, is that a call you would make again today?
Yeah, I called questioning the election. I thought it was a rigged election. I thought it had a lot of problems. I had I guess he's Secretary of State. I called, listen to this. There are like 7 lawyers in the call, many of them from there. We're having a call, we're having a normal call. Nobody said, oh, gee, he shouldn't have said that. Why? If this call was bad, I questioned the election.
You
If
asked
this
him to
call
find
was
you
bad,
votes.
I didn't ask him to find anything. Let me
We've
just tell
heard
you,
the audio
if
tape,
this
Mr.
call-
President. There's
BS
audio
you
of
did.
asking him to
I
find you
said,
11,000
you owe
something
me
votes.
votes because the election was rigged. That election was rigged. And if this call was bad, why didn't him and his lawyers hang up? How dare you say that? This was a
Well,
perfect
they were
phone
clearly
call.
concerned enough, they recorded the call, and I should note that, of
This
course,
was a call that was made to question the results of election. And when we can't make a call to question election results, then this country ought to just forget about it.
you weren't just questioning the election
Facts.
results, you were asking
Questioning
him
the
to
election.
find you votes, and I should
Facts.
note that there is no evidence of fraud, there is no
Bullshit.
rigged election in the state of Georgia. I'm
Bullshit.
gonna get back to the audience, though, Mr. President, because those are false claims you're making about what happened
No,
in
they
Georgia.
ain't.
Jordan Tullenberger is here. He's an undeclared voter from Hollis. He voted for you in 2020. Jordan, what is your question for President Trump tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Thank you very much.
I'm 26. I'm a veteran. I help manage a private aviation company.
You want a job?
I'd love one. Yeah.
I'm looking for somebody very good.
That's it.
I'm not for mandates or government interference in private business, but I've
Right.
seen Republicans going after us like DeSantis after Disney.
Right.
What would you do as president to protect us from government interference?
Well, I'm the one that really wants to protect you. All of these fake investigations of me are about election interference. They think because I'm leading Biden by 11 points, 7 points, 9 points, I'm leading the sanctimonious by a lot, by 40 points or 45 points. I think he ought to just relax and take it easy and think about the future, because right now his future is not looking so good. I will tell you this. We are really putting it to Biden, but he's putting it to himself because the economy stinks, inflation is horrible, and the border is a disaster. And by the way, the way he got out of Afghanistan was the single most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
Mr.
Facts.
President, I have one more question for you here tonight, and I think while we're in front of the voters here in New Hampshire, this is a fundamental question for you. You are running in the 2024 race. If you are the Republican nominee and you are in that 2024 race, will you commit tonight to accepting the results of the 2024 election?
Yeah, if I think it's an honest election, absolutely I would.
Will you commit to accepting the results of the election regardless of the outcome?
You want me to answer it again? If I think it's an honest election, I would be honored to. And right now, we are so far ahead of both Democrat and Republican. And you know what? If I don't win, this country's going to be in big trouble. It's so sad to see what's happening.
But no commitment there on the accepting the results regardless of the outcome.
If it's an honest election, correct, I will.
Okay, so not committing to accepting the 2020 election results or acknowledging what happened in 2020.
Oh, that shit's freaking hilarious, I'll tell you. Okay, so not accepting the result, not accepting, I like that he points at it, he freaking just, whatever, piss off. That's fucking hilarious. Facts, I'd be doing the same thing. Piss on you, lady. I'm not going to repeat it 3 times. Yes, if it's an honest election, yes. If it's not honest, no. Why would I?
Accepting the results regardless of the outcome.
If it's an honest election, correct, I will.
Okay, so not committing to accepting the 2020 election results or acknowledging what happened in 2020. President Trump, I want to thank you for coming here tonight. This is an important conversation with voters to hear and to have. Thank you to our audience and to our host, St. Anselm College. Students' coverage continues. Anderson Cooper and Jake Tapper.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kevin. Good job. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much. I like you guys. We love New Hampshire. Thank you, Woody. Good luck, Woody.
Thanks.
Beautiful. 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 Man, that was funny. Again, she's stupid. He's not going to. So you're essentially you're trying to get him to say that you're going to accept it regardless. No. Why would he do that? If they cheated once, and there's evidence of it, and you just let it go because you didn't want Mr. T to win, you know what I mean? Then why would he accept it again? Never educate stupid. Right, well, no, they're just in denial. You know what I mean? They just want you to see what they see. Which everything, that he says is false. You know what I mean? It's a lie. And when you watch the when you watch the Anderson part of it, you know what I mean? They go in there, yeah, we're sorry about that, you know what I mean? Everything he claimed was a lie. Here. I was watching a Black Conservative. I'll go to his part because I'm not gonna, listen to the whole thing, you know what I mean? Because it's so aggravating. I could barely even get through it because it was pissing me off. Because they kept saying, oh, it's a lie and all that shit. I'm like, shut the frick up, bro. Like, this is why I don't watch this network, because they are terrible. They are terrible. You know what I mean? They are horrible. Horrible. I'll tell you. But if Trump's on, yes, I will watch it if Trump's on. Because it's entertaining. You know what I mean? It's very entertaining. But I can't stand their network, though. They're freaking, oh my God. They're terrible. I tell you, they are terrible. So yeah, so there's the whole thing in full cut. And commercials are cut and everything, and it's beautiful. I love it. You know what I mean? When they start cutting shit, and that's when it ruins it. You know what I mean? And I might take some snips. You know what I mean? I might take some snips and put them as a short, because they're so right. You know what I mean? He nails that so right. It's funny. So I might do this. So you guys might see some shorts like that, and check them out. You know what I mean? They'll be funny. But I gotta get to it. I hope he doesn't talk over it, because I know he says some comments and stuff like that. The Black Conservative. Definitely check out his channel. He's way bigger than me. He's got like 600,000 subscribers or something like that. He's well up there. He might even have more than that now. But I just subscribed to him. He's very good guy. He's like straight in the middle. I think he does lean a little bit more right. But as far as I know, he's 100% right in the middle. and you know, you can speak your opinion and all that stuff. I do that here. You know what I mean? If you guys are Democrat, you know what I mean, you want to speak your opinion, that's fine. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm gonna state how I feel. You know what I mean? And if you don't like how I feel or whatever like that, that's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna control you and push you a certain way. You know, I'm just gonna tell you what's happening. You know what I mean? I mean, that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm telling you what is going on, and if you want to have a different view of it, well, then that's, you know, that's fine. You know, but this is how I actually first watched this, if you're curious. And so so that was my first time actually seeing it all the way through, from beginning to end, with no commercials or anything, and not having somebody talk over it. You know what I mean? So here it is.
And nobody talks about him.
Mr. President, it's not
Modern
They put a
resident
rough
man.
guy on us, and they, in the
I think it's
meantime, they have
important, Mr.
nobody.
President, to actually set the record straight here. They took
So I think they show his face, at least I thought they did. Yeah, right here. And what's weird about this too is that I felt bad for this black guy, because I think his name is Brian or Ryan, Bryan. I think that's what his name. They freaking cut him off on this guy's channel. Now I don't know about maybe other places they didn't, but here he was listening, and then all of a sudden they cut him off, and I was like, bruh.
You're looking there at St. Anne's.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you. I like you guys. We love New Hampshire. Thank you, Willie. Good luck with it.
Thanks, everyone.
You're looking there at St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire. Tonight's St. Anne Town Hall, moderated by Caitlin Collins. The first of the 2024 presidential campaign is now in the books. Good evening from New York.
Hello from Washington, and it was an interesting night. Mr. Trump's first lie was told just seconds into the night, with his false familiar claim that the 2020 election was, quote, a rigged election. And the falsehoods kept coming fast and furious about the January 6th insurrection, about the threat to Vice President Pence, about Pence's ability to overturn the election, about COVID, about the economy, and more. He called a black law enforcement officer a thug. He said people here in Washington, D.C. at Chinatown don't speak English. He attacked Caitlin as a nasty woman because she was trying to get him to answer a question. Perhaps most chilling.
Bullshit. She was interrupting him as he was answering the question.
The day after a 9-person jury of his peers in New York found him liable for sexual battery and defamation and ordered him to pay writer E. Jean Carroll $5 million, he made fun of her account of her sexual assault. And many in the audience laughed.
And applauded. The former president making his first appearance tonight on this network since the 2016 election. He spoke with and took questions from New Hampshire Republican and undeclared voters who plan to take part in the GOP primary, and it took place just a day after, as Jake referenced, Manhattan federal jury found him liable of sexually abusing and defaming writer E. Jean Carroll.
Let's get right to it. With me here in studio, CNN's Audie Cornish, Abby Phillip, Dana Bash, John King, Laura Coates, and Jamie Gangel. Let me start with you, Dana. We don't have enough time to fact check every lie he told.
We don't have every time to fact check every lie he told. What a bunch of bullshit.
But he started off with the election one, and boy, he really just never let that bone go.
And it's pretty clear the evidence is now out there that he is going to continue to tell that lie, not just to the audience where he has an echo chamber, conservative media, but unbiased, straight down the middle media. The people he's trying to get beyond his base now.
And this is where the guy starts speaking, I think. Yeah, he starts kind of going over it. I'm going to skip some of it here because these people I didn't give a frick about. It's when they went over to their other group of people. Of course, they went over a lot of the same BS, yada, yada, yada. Hippity hoppity. You people are the one to talk about lying. Exactly, right. Exactly. Lie. I mean, this is why I had to stop watching it, because it was pissing me off so much. I just could not keep watching it. I was like, I'm going to blow a casket if I keep watching this garbage. But I eventually went back to it, and I finished it. And it did actually get better, finally, because somebody that was actually had a right mind came in there and started speaking facts, and I'm like, oh. But as soon as he started really getting into it, guess what? They cut him off.
Axelrod, Officer Farrah Griffin, David Urban, also joining us is Florida Republican Congressman.
Yeah, that broski right over there.
Donald.
Lit
David Axelrod,
motherfucker.
Your thoughts on what
So is that guy next to us.
Well, look, I mean, in one way, my thoughts were summarized by the previous panel. But I will say, anyone who has been paying attention and expected Donald Trump to be anything other than what he was tonight, really has misread the situation.
Facts.
That is who he is.
Yep.
And, that is the core of his appeal to his base. I said to Dave earlier, there's no R on his gear shift. He never concedes any error. He never concedes doing anything wrong. The idea that he was going to show up and say, I've thought this through, and I really, I should have done a few things differently. That might have been good political advice for a general election. That's not who he is. And that's sort of, that authentically who Donald Trump is. But it does underscore one thing, and I don't use this term lightly. There are lots of professions in which sort of being a sociopath you get punished for. It's not a quality that is an advantage in many settings. But if you're a politician and you're just willing to blow through facts and blow through challenges and insist on your version of the truth, there's some advantage to that, and he's proved it.
This is the Donald Trump that we have always known. He is who he is. And if you are a voter who is looking at next November and thinking you're dreading this rematch between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, we got confirmation that the rematch is a rerun, that we've already seen exactly what Donald Trump is, and he's not bringing some new Donald Trump 2.0 to the campaign trail.
Yeah, he actually kind of is. He's a lot better than what he was before. A lot. He's a lot more informed, and he's a lot more smarter on what he says versus what he does, what he did before, where he just goes at it. You know what I mean? And I think a lot more people now are actually going to vote Republican and not Democrat. So actually, I do think he's gonna pull it off. Tiffany, well, it depends. I mean, do you got Discord? You got that? You can talk to me on Discord, DM me on there. You can DM me on Twitter, probably even maybe on Instagram. Discord would be probably better in terms of that.
I think it was notable that he brought a prop in terms of the printout of tweets and clips and things, specifically around January 6th, because you can tell that he wants to make the case. Look, you think I'm the chaos guy, but actually under Biden, that's chaos, right? He talks about the border, crime, gas prices, and then he undercuts his own message that he's actually not.
Yeah. If you want to join my Discord, you can do so. The link is in the description, so definitely do so.
The chaos guy, by saying he would pardon.
Same with my social medias.
The folks on January 6th. You can see what message he's trying to drive, but he can't help himself undercut it at every turn.
And then he talked about the January 6th, those who are in prison, saying that they are living in hell, concerned about, unreformed, unrepentant.
Oh, I hate this guy.
Unimproved.
This guy's a loser.
Here go to this
rerun Donald. And
just do the straight
you're
thing.
watching this, trying to figure out what's
Fake
happening
crime,
there.
always trying to be all
You should
sensitive.
be very worried. He threw Ukraine under the bus. Just
So,
under the bus.
we don't have no business
So
being
a vote
there.
for this guy is a vote for a Putin victory. Period. Point blank. You can't get away from that. He would not say that he wouldn't pardon people who've been convicted in U.S. courts of seditious conspiracy, a criminal thug group called the Proud Boys. That's an easy no.
I'm not gonna pardon traitors.
Here we
He
go
wouldn't
with the
even
Trump
get
Proud
that.
Boy stuff
He
again.
called the black police officer a thug. He talked about Chinatown.
Here we go. Call
All
the black
dogs
police
were there.
officer.
This is rerun Donald. No improvement, no reflection, no repentance, no remorse, and that's what you're voting for if you vote for this.
I
Here we
honestly
go.
found it jarring to watch. And just kind of a quick recap. He refused to call Vladimir Putin a war criminal. He did not commit to continuing aid to Ukraine. He basically alluded to restarting.
Well, why would he call him that? Again, you guys are stupid. If you want to end the war, you don't sit there and call the guy that's doing the war a war criminal, because then you're not going to end the war.
The inhumane family separation policy at the southern border. He once again repeatedly denied that he lost the election, which he did in 2020.
Which
and
he
then
didn't,
made light
you
of
dumb
sexual
frick.
assault, and even more horrifyingly, some of the audience members laughed. This is a man who is
No,
so
because that
fully
means they know who's right and who's wrong, and they know that your dumbasses are wrong. All right, sounds good too.
fit to be president of the United States. I hope that was clear as day to viewers. And I just want to say one
No,
thing.
they're-
because
they know that
some
not to vote for
important
Biden.
Policy issues did come up, but what I would encourage folks, any Republican running for office or considering running for president wants to secure the border. They want to bring down inflation. They want to deal with the economy. They want strong American leadership abroad. They will do that without the chaos, the insanity, and throwing our allies under the bus the way Donald Trump will.
So I'm down here
Exactly,
for the low end of the
Fanco.
table for a reason. I
This
think.
guy like.
Look, what explains the fact to America? Maybe Jamie Gangelso was blown up from friends she knows, but half the United States still likes this guy, right? You heard John King say he may be the next president of the United States.
This guy's
And
all
he
right.
may be the
He's
next
okay.
president of the United States. So I know there's this, he's a terrible human being. He said all these bad things, but a lot of Americans listened to what he said and said, well, yeah, that's bad, but it's better than the current situation. Or it's bad, but I can't take any more of this. And, the border, they're watching what's happening on the border now. And they said, well, at least when Trump was in, it was this, right? So I hear what everyone's saying. He did this. He's much better. The president's much better. I always say this when he's talking about prospective things or his record rather than, talking about 2020 and the election and how it was stolen or January 6th. I think he's got a large record of accomplishments he could talk about tonight and ran on, which he didn't, which I was hoping to hear more of that. But, everybody who's watching out on this CNN network who may be wringing their hands and saying this guy's terrible, they better get ready because he may be the next president of the United States. I will say he did make news, at least in my opinion, on the abortion front because every other candidate that I've heard, they said, I will vote, unceremoniously, I will support a total ban on abortion at a federal level. The president and former President Trump refused to say that. He said, I will negotiate something that's best for the most amount of people. I mean, it seemed almost like, he was going to try to go back to, 15 weeks or whatever it was, kind of, under a lot of states and not a 6-week ban like a lot of people are asking for. So I did think that he was a lot of the things you're saying, but in certain things, like on the gun part, you talk about Kristen, he kind of struck almost, I don't want to say conciliatory tone, but and Van, on Russia, I think that the point that he made was, I don't think he's saying I'm going to turn over Ukraine. I think it's much more. Listen, I'm a military. I think what happened, the invasion needs to be stopped. It was unfettered aggression by Vladimir Putin. But at a certain point, we got to figure out what's the end game here for the world? How's it?
You believe he can do it in 24 hours?
Listen, I don't know if the president can do it in 24 hours, but. I don't know how it is.
I think everybody knows the president can't.
But
It's important to note that when the invasion happened, his first reaction was to call it genius.
Well, yeah, you heard him now. He said Putin made the biggest mistake he made was invading Ukraine, right? I mean, so it's not.
Let's hear from Congressman.
You're
a supporter of the former president.
Well,
Here he
a
is.
couple of things. First of all, town halls are for the voters, not for the press,
Facts.
not for the person who's the moderator. Caitlin spent more time interjecting her own viewpoints or her own views on the situation. Did I not say that? Now, are you guys not going to interject your views on here? Or do I get a chance? Oh, here we go.
See?
There we go.
Those were facts.
trying to suppress this black man's voice.
To speak to the voters of New Hampshire, not for this back and forth
That's not
with
true.
media.
Who
That's
defined
number
that?
one. Hold on. That's number one. Number two, with respect to Ukraine, I totally disagree. He did not say he was just going to give over Ukraine the way you intimate, Van. He did not say that.
didn't say he
what
was-
he said,
he did not say that he was-
Van,
he said
what he,
was
Van, what he said is that he would actually look for a solution to end it quickly. He put 24 hours on it, but let's be very clear. What Joe Biden has done has been a disaster because initially with Ukraine, Joe Biden wanted to give Vladimir Zelensky a ride out of Dodge. He wanted to give him a plane ride, and it wasn't until people in Moscow, in Ukraine, here in the United States said this invasion is wrong that Joe Biden reversed course.
Do you want a victory in Ukraine?
There's a couple
Do
things.
you want a victory in
I'm just trying to respond to everything that's been coming up on the table. Last thing, let me say this.
Uh-oh.
They cut him off.
What? No freaking way. No! No freaking way! CNN cut him off. They cut him off. No freaking way, y'all. For real. They cut the man, y'all, they cut him off. I'm just telling y'all what happened. That is crazy. They cut, how dare they silence a black man's voice? How dare they? Trump called a black police officer a thug. Trump is a racist. CNN just cut a black man's voice off from millions of people hearing him. Is that... That is crazy.
Yeah, no. He was facts though. They was facts. He was telling the other black guy that because that other asshole was over there telling him, well, you know this and this and this. He was going after him for, he said he was going to create war and all this shit. And what that guy was doing was putting him in his place and saying, no, that's not what happened. This is what happened, you dipshit. And he kept. He was putting them all in their place, and as soon as he started really going at it, you know what I mean? Then they cut him off. Well, at least on here. Now, I think on other people's live stream, I think it kept going. So I don't know. It's kind of confusing. Maybe it was just this particular one. I'm not sure. Or maybe other people were watching it on a different place, and maybe that's why it was working for them. I'm not really sure. But at least where he was watching it, they cut him off with this guy. They cut him off, and he could not get it back because I was watching it live. He tried to get it back many times, and he couldn't get it back. So in this case, they cut him off here. So, but that guy was fired, though. That guy was fired. I was actually trying to hear more of him. Because he was putting them in their place, and they didn't like that. They did not like that. They did not like that. They did not like that. Oh, no, we're going to cut you off. Because you were spreading false information. Which is not true. He's spreading facts, is what he's spreading. But you don't want it. So that's why you're cutting him off. It's bullshit. Yeah, no, nothing about race, nothing at all. But they in a way, they kind of made it about race. It's just because they cut him off. It's a bunch of bullshit. Because I actually never heard the rest of that conversation with him when he was said thirdly. I never heard the rest of that because I could never find it. So I'm actually curious on what else he said. I think his name is Brian. Yeah. full conversation, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Maybe it might pop up. I don't know. It might not. You know what I mean? I don't know. And then he was on Fox the next day.
This is not me.
You know, which I laughed at that. I found that funny. He was on Fox the next day, freaking calling out CNN for not covering the. Oh, that's funny. On the important matters that were at hand, if you know what I mean. It's not popping up. It's not popping up at all, actually. Let me see here. What is this? Is this even the right one? I don't even know. What's up, Cosmo? Welcome to the stream. How you doing, man? This is not even the town hall. What the frick, man? This is something else. This is a different coverage. And mainly it's focused on a stupid lady that I don't even care about. I don't see it at all being part of the... Yeah, I don't think it is. What? Waste. What a waste. And just woke up. Yeah, nice waking up, my good friend. Oh, yeah. Let me see.
It was not a.
Good evening. Before we begin with tonight's broadcast, I want to say something about what we witnessed at last night's town hall. Many of you have expressed deep anger and disappointment. Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and call Caitlin Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who stands up to him. It was disturbing. Good evening. Before we begin with tonight's broadcast, I want to say something. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used on conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of women who, according to a jury of his peers, he sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Caitlin Collins did trying to fact check him, it is impossible to fact check fully because he lies so shamelessly. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that, giving him the audience, the time, I get that. But this is what I also get. The man you were so disturbed to see and hear from last night, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination for president. And according to polling, no other Republican is even close. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed, and he is running hard. You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away? If we all only listen to those we agree with, it may actually do the opposite. If lies are allowed to go unchecked, as imperfect as our ability to check them is on a stage in real time, those lies continue and those lies spread. If you're angry or upset, I understand, but you have the power to do something about it. You can actually get involved. You can make a difference, whatever side of the aisle you're on. After last night, none of us can say, I didn't know what's out there. I didn't know what's coming. We asked Republican senators for their thoughts about last night. Some preferred not to say anything. Others did. Here's a sampling of what we heard.
What was the reason for you not supporting him? Where do I begin? President Trump's judgment is wrong in this case. President Putin and his government have engaged in war crimes.
I think people saw last night what they would get with
Look in the mirror, Anderson. Facts, man.
Donald Trump as president, which is completely untethered to the truth, uncertain as to whether he wants Russia or Ukraine to win in the brutal conflict which Russia has imposed on Ukraine.
You're asking me, do I think you should pardon people who engaged in like rioting behavior? No, I don't.
Anybody who crossed in to the into the Capitol under the circumstances that I witnessed firsthand, it's hard for me to have a positive predisposition towards them.
One more now from Jessica Dean. She's
Bitch. That's what you are. Good. We won't watch your channel network anymore. We'll make sure of that because your ugly ass is on there. And we don't want to see your ugly ass. So. And see how stupid you are. So. Yeah, I know. Well, now I can't get it to pop up. And those Republicans, I find that very hard to believe. I find that very hard. Either that or they are corrupt. Which, very well likely. You know.
Many of you have expressed.
Oh, I can't find that one now. Won't pop up. See, they're not trying to show it. They don't want to show it. It's bullshit. Now I had a YouTuber that reacted to it, but I can't even find it now. It won't even pop up. What a bunch of bastards, I tell you. Oh, I can't even search my history. That's messed up, man. Since you've been gone, oh, I can't break it. Show me that video. Damn you. Yeah, facts about that though, brother. Facts on that. Yeah, I find it stupid that you can't search up your history on the console, but you can on the what you can on the. There we go. I found it. I had to do it on my phone. That was the only way it's going to pop up. Look at how precise I had to be in order for it to pop up. Because I remember clicking it before. I don't remember if I watched the whole thing. But...
Except politics. Don't say that stuff to me. That might work for somebody else. That definitely don't work for me. Jury of my peers, yeah, whatever. What else you got?
That's pretty much it. This is a sexual abuse conviction, basically.
It's an allegation from, what, 25 years ago? Republican voters want him to come back.
Because he's lied to them
Stop. He actually did the job. You know that. And frankly, he did the job better than the current president right now. And that is indisputable. Name the issue. Donald Trump did it better. All right, guys.
See? Those are some of the comments, and that was 10 minutes later after what he was doing before. It was good on that one. Oh, I love this guy and this black and conservative perspective. Greg Foreman, pretty lit. Check him out too. He's pretty cool. He's a chill dude. Let's see if you can cover a little bit more of that particular guy.
And if you're watching this, trying to figure out what's going to happen to America, you should be very worried. He threw Ukraine under the bus. Just threw him under the bus. So a vote for this guy is a vote for a Putin victory. Period, point blank. You can't get away from that. He would not say that he wouldn't pardon people who've been convicted in U.S. courts of seditious conspiracy, a criminal officer, no remorse, and
what he said is that he would actually look for a solution to end it quickly. He put 24 hours on it, but let's be very clear. What Joe Biden has done has been a disaster. So then Van Jones, go.
And I think a lot of Democrats were appalled by his, or the people who have been he uses with nostalgia about Biden initially is almost unstoppable for the nomination.
Yeah, so this guy been.
Yeah, he goes into it.
Tell your kids, character matters. It matters.
Me cry fucking home, you bitch. He was crying on that because he was so happy that Joe Biden won. He was like, "We're saved, we're saved." Fucking idiot. That's why I can't stand him.
In 2018, huge numbers in 2020.
He's a fucking idiot. I wish we would have covered a little bit more of that, but that very beginning though, he nailed it. He nailed that one very easily. So, thank you for following me, my friend. If you guys didn't see that Finance and Freddy's official trailer, check that teaser out, by the way. I don't know how many have or haven't. And if you are curious to Mr. Beast is getting very close. He's about 2.6 million away from passing Said Idiot. So I'll probably have a little short on that too when that officially happens. So yeah, so that is the situation, guys. That is the scoop. Scoopity doop. Scoopity doopity doopity doop.
Drake. What? Where's the door hole? Goes right there.
So yeah, so what is your guys' thoughts on it? Let me know how you guys feel. You guys can even comment in the comment section below when this uploads as a video later. Leave them in the comment section below. Would appreciate that, or do it right here in the chat. Does not matter to me. You know what I mean? Give me an open discussion. I'm perfectly good. Appreciate you following me on my social medias there, Van Cove. Much love. Followed you back. Woo. much love, my good friend. So yeah, tell me how you guys feel, and thanks for the bar on Twitter. I mean, yeah, appreciate it. Oh, I see you follow me on Instagram too. I'll follow you back. There you go. Age 30. Oh, I didn't know you were that old. I did not know, my friend, that you were that old. I am 22. So you were 8 years older than me. Crazy. So yeah, I appreciate the the support. So yeah, again, so how'd you guys feel about it? What'd you guys think? Appreciate the likes. Much love. Much love, much love. Hopefully I got your Instagram right. Hate to be catfished online. Yes. I think you did. Yes. Yes, you did get the right one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you did. You did. What's he calling me? Well, what's up?
Hello.
Yo.
What's up? Sorry. Friend who I haven't talked to in like 5 months called, and I was like, shit, I haven't talked to him in a long time, so we talked for like a good hour or two, so.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. So. Nope. We're just kind of giving the last word and stuff like that.
What did you think about the entire debate? Did you think Trump fucking killed it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Without a fact. Especially at the very end, she got freaking salty and shit and everything like that. No, he did not do that. He does not have the right. Yes, he does. And she kept saying, no, he did not. No, he did not. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Stated facts on that shit. She did not. But that's That's how that network is. And then, of course, if you watch the after discussion, you know what I mean? They talk about, we're sorry you had to hear lie after lie after lie after lie. It's like, bruh. It's like, but he didn't. You did, though. You did. You lied many times. In fact, every time.
Yes.
So, you could say he lied all you want, but that's not true. It's the other way around. So, so that is a scoop. But yeah, give me your guys' opinions and everything like that. Van Cove and whoever else is watching, let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts and all that good stuff. You guys definitely crushed the like goal, so I do appreciate that. So I definitely might do more of these in the future. Do keep that in note. Check out my polls and all that good stuff too. And all that good stuff. I should be having the Thursday stream. I'm not 100% sure actually. I think it. Oh, you know what movie that I know what the guy's from? That kid's from. He's from. It's that game movie. Where they play the game and then they're out and then they're in outer space. You know what movie game I'm talking about? It's from the mid 2000s. 2005, somewhere around that, 2008, somewhere around there. And Five Nights at Freddy's, that trailer. That kid, he was the brother of that little kid. That's where he was in. That's where I remember him the most in. He was in that movie. So that's interesting that he's in this movie. So pretty cool. Hopefully he doesn't get killed. So wish him the best. Figured I'd make that point. So yeah, you might see some shorts of the funny interview. Of the funny parts of it anyway. So definitely do check them out, as they will be hilarious to watch. And all that good stuff. Any other crazy shorts I might have as well, so do keep an eye on those. But yeah, any other thoughts or opinions or anything like that you guys want to throw out there, feel free. You know what I mean? Give me your side of it. You know what I mean? If you watch this network, I advise not watching anymore, as they are trash. Absolute trash.
Yep. Live.
Oh, yep. Sorry about that. Had a slight break there. So yeah. So there's that. It was great because when they went to break, they cut, you know what I mean, where they come back. That's what I liked about it. I like it when it does that. You don't have to see the stupid commercials or anything like that. So yeah, so obviously you know who I'm voting for. I'm voting for Mr. T. You know, I ain't a crime for saying it. You know, gonna give Mr. T hat, Mr. T flag. You know it. That's where Mr. Ray's stands. You know, if you got a different opinion, I respect your opinion. You know, I'm not gonna attack you on your opinion, because that's not what I do. You know, I may be against your opinion. I may be, you know, I might not, you know, agree with your opinion, but possibly there could be that. But I'm not gonna disrespect it, or I'm not going to go after you with it. So I'm not gonna attack you for it. Speak your mind. Tell me how you feel. You know what I mean? You can, you know, you can say whatever you want about mine. That's fine. You know what I mean? It's a free platform, and you know, free to say what you want. I really don't care. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for. But yeah, that is the scoop. That's a great thumbnail, by the way. Him smiling. That's a great thumbnail. That's funny. Oh, maybe this one. This one just popped up right now.
We do know that true.
You won't state your opinion about factually what happened in the 2020
You
election.
guys want me to make a statement. This is, Frank, let me tell you right now. This is what's frustrating.
No, I want you to just
This is what's frustrating to a lot of people. You want me to state it the way you want me to state
No,
it.
I
I am
don't.
telling you.
I want you to just
the
answer the
ideas
question.
and the
Do you
reasons
believe?
behind why certain people
Do you
look at
believe the
the
election was
2020 like that they do.
I understand why
Now,
some people
moving
believe it.
forward
Do you?
into 2024, a couple of things are very, very clear. The nation is a mess. Our border is overrun. Inflation is crippling every family, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Those are the facts of the matter.
Byron Dunn out here torching, bro. Torching.
See that they bumped the they freaking I found it. I finally found it. I didn't think I would be able to find him continuing his speech, but I just found it. It finally popped up. Weirdly how it pops up now. Different guy actually. Yeah, it's a different black guy. Yeah, I think so.
They really did that shit. That's so funny. They call Trump racist? Really?
Yeah, they literally cut him off. And the funny thing is, too, when you try to find him continuing his speech, again, it's impossible to find it. I look it up, and nothing pops up. Nothing. It's all about Trump and all about the town hall thing and everything. You know what I mean? It's either Andrew, the piece of shit, speaking, or whatever. If it's anything about this Ryan guy, nothing pops up. Nothing. And I've already watched the damn video, too. And even that doesn't pop up. So they're really suppressing this. They really don't want you to see it. Not at all. It's bullshit. You know what I mean? It finally did pop up now, and I didn't even look for it. And thankfully, it finally popped up. Out of random. But he just said rigged election, and you heard that beep. They bleeped him out. What a bunch of crooks. I tell you, they consider that a bad word. They don't want you to say rigged. You say rigged, they'll bleep it out. It's like, bro. What a bunch of crooks, I tell you. This is why I don't watch this shit station. You know what I mean? You wonder why they don't get barely any ratings. Because they trash. You know, he's speaking the facts. Now, they're denying it because they don't want you, they want to not look bad. You know what I mean? Because he's essentially calling them out on their bullshit. And they don't want to admit it. So, of course, they're going to sit there and deny and say, no, we don't do that. We want you to speak your opinion. No, you don't. You're fucking suppressing his ass. You bastards. You're suppressing him. Every time he tries to say something, you're fucking trying to cut him off. I mean, what do you think you're doing? We're not stupid. You know, only the stupid people that watch this network believe that, oh, no, he's just stating, you know, misuse. And yeah, they do let you speak. You know what I mean? You know, No, they don't. Look at what they're doing. If that was letting them speak, then they wouldn't be sitting there interrupting them every 2 seconds. You know, they don't want him to say anything because now they know that he's not going to follow their way. So, you know, they want him to be quiet. But good for him, he keeps going. Facts.
Before. Now I don't know him personally, but I've talked to him. I met him before. I can hit him up right now and be like, "What's up, bro?" That's the kind of terms I know, but I ain't in his house. I don't know the totality of who he is as a man. But this dude is one of the firebrands of conservatism. There ain't nobody kicking people door in like my boy Byron Donald. And
Brian,
I just
okay,
love
there
the
you go.
fact that he puts everybody in their place. They can't pull that bull crap like they do with other Republicans. He'll get on the stage, very smart. I mean, the dude is brilliant. He knows how to convey messages. I mean, this dude, he's my favorite. He is my favorite politician at this point, you know, outside of the presidential run. He is my favorite. Anyway, I want y'all to hear him put the smackdown on the CNN panel as they try to just disparage Donald Trump in the voice of reason speaks. Roll the clip.
A couple of things. First of all, town halls are for the voters, not for the press, not for the person who's the moderator. Caitlin spent more time interjecting her own viewpoints or her own views on the situation.
Those are actually facts.
Now, are you guys not going to interject your views on here? Or do I get a chance to speak now?
If you're speaking
everybody, wait a
falsely,
second.
those were facts.
The
Is he
town
trying to
hall
interrupt
is
him?
for the president to speak to the voters of New Hampshire, not for this back and forth
That's not
with
true.
media.
Who
That's
defined
number
that?
one. Hold on. That's number one. Number two.
That's
with
not
respect
true.
to Ukraine, I totally disagree. He did not say he was just going to give over Ukraine the way you intimate, Van. He did not say that.
He didn't say he
what
was-
he said
he did not say that he was-
Van, what he said was
Shut up.
that he would
You don't know shit,
actually
you dumb
look for a
prick.
solution to end it quickly. He put 24 hours on it, but let's be very clear. What Joe Biden has done has been a disaster because
Facts.
initially with Ukraine, Joe Biden wanted to give Vladimir Zelensky a ride out of Dodge. He wanted to give him a plane ride, and it wasn't until people in Moscow, in Ukraine, here in the United States said this invasion is wrong that Joe Biden reversed course.
Do you want a victory in Ukraine? Do you want a victory in
I'm
Ukraine?
just trying to respond to everything that's been coming up on the table. Last thing, let me say this. We spent 22, 23 minutes talking about January 6th.
Okay, now see, now this is where they cut him off. So thankfully, this video he didn't get cut off. Thankfully, here he didn't get cut off. But when I'm watching that one guy, he got cut off. They cut his ass off. So now I'm gonna finally hear what he actually had to say during this part, since he didn't get cut off before.
We
Talk
could
about
be
January
talking about a
6th.
whole lot of other issues instead of doing that for the first half hour or so. But let me be very clear. What was said in this town hall about National Guard troops that were authorized by Caitlin was wrong. I'm on the Oversight Committee. I was in 2 hearings on January 6th. It was testified in oversight that Donald Trump authorized National Guard troops on January 4. He followed up in the call with then acting Secretary of Defense on January 5, trying to see where the deployment was on those troops.
Ah, this is why they cut him off, because they didn't want this information getting out.
That was testimony in the Oversight Committee. Everybody testified in Oversight Committee when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, except one organization, and that was the Capitol Police.
Did you read the
Because Nancy
Secretary of Defense
Pelosi would not allow that. I'm telling you what was testified to in the Oversight Committee under.
They want to jump around the bush. I'm telling you what was testified to under oath in the Oversight Committee. Under oath. So I don't care what everybody else is saying. What Byron Donald is saying was done in the Oversight Committee under oath. It can't get no realer than that.
Let me just correct you, because what Caitlin was saying was what the former Secretary of Defense wrote in his book. He said the president did not.
I am telling you what was.
Yeah, but what you're hearing from that person is a dumbass. He's lying to you. He did not deny it, you frick. You were hearing this person said this. This person said, yeah, he didn't say nothing. He didn't say to do these troops. He did, you frickhead.
What he testified to under oath. In the Oversight Committee.
They're talking about a book. He said this in a book. That's why the media sucks. He said this in his book. And Byron Donald said, well, no, he testified to this under oath. That was different than what he wrote in a book. God, these people are fake.
Can I just
What
ask,
are the facts? Go ahead.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this lukewarm. I want to say something real bad about it, but I'm trying to be a good Christian. Look at this coward here. I do not like her. She and these people, it's just like some of these black conservatives. Like, they are black before they're conservative. To me, she want to be liked by both sides. So she would say something completely stupid in order to get favor with these people instead of standing on principle. Just like Byron Donald, standing on principle, man. Stand on your own 10. She want to be liked. He telling the truth.
you acknowledge Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, correct?
Again, we're going to continue to talk about 2020.
No, I mean, it's a correct
right now, hold on. Let me tell you.
Facts. Makes a good point right there. We're going to keep talking about 2020? Exactly. Move the frick on. Quit asking the same bullshit questions.
I'll tell you why most voters are frankly kind of tired of y'all bringing this up. Inflation, border.
You don't have the courage to.
We don't need to talk about 2020. Y'all keep saying it is over.
Facts.
And you want him to talk about 2020. Byron Donald is telling you, people, ain't nobody thinking about 2020 when the gas prices are crazy. Ain't nobody thinking of 2020 when you lost all this money due to inflation. Come on, man. Come on, bro.
That's your opinion about
I'm a Republican voter. I'm a Republican voter.
You're a Republican voter. You're very fucking stupid for being a Republican voter. I'll tell you that right now.
You want to talk about inflation, the border, fentanyl, the debt ceiling, foreign policy. If you want to talk about the 2020 election, let's talk about this.
American democracy, my ass. Like you would know what that is, you fucking bitch.
We do know that Mark Elias was in many jurisdictions suing to actually change election procedures, which, by the way, is at the hands of the state legislature in every state, according to the Constitution. Not in the hands of courts, not in the hands of the Supreme Court, the state legislature.
I like that one guy right there.
We do know that
He's not saying shit. He's just fucking looking straight.
You guys want me to make a statement. This is, Frank, let me tell you right now. This is what's frustrating to a lot of people.
State the truth. Okay, you want the truth? Yeah, the election was rigged. That's the truth.
You want me to state it the way you want me to state it. I am telling
yes, you do.
The ideas and the reasons behind why certain people
do you believe the election was rigged?
That they do.
I understand why some people
moving
believe it.
forward into 2024.
See, look at they beat them again.
You want me to say?
No, I
am telling you.
I want you to just
the
answer the
ideas
question.
and the
Do you
reasons
believe?
behind why certain people
Do you believe the election was rigged?
That they do.
See, rigged. See, every time he says rigged, beep, cut him off.
Some people
moving forward into 2024. A couple of things are very, very clear. The nation is a mess. Our border is overrun. Inflation is crippling every family. Republican, Democrat, Independent. Those are the facts of the matter in 2024. Not 2020. Not 2020.
Why the funny thing is that, why does what he think about 2020 matter at all? I don't understand. I know why they're obsessed with it, because they want to frame it in what I would say discredit what you have to say, because they'll frame it as if you're not denying the election. That's all they want him to say. Like, it's irrelevant, man. It's 2020. We got a whole other presidential election coming up. It doesn't matter. Even if he did think that it was stolen or not, who cares? it don't even matter. People don't care.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Facts.
God dang it. It bothers me. Thank God for somebody like Byron Donald that's willing to come out and just say it like it is, man. Shout out to Byron Donald. I may have him on my YouTube channel so we can do an interview, man. One of the realest brothers out there. Realest ones out there. Van Jones over there looking like he want to pee in his pants because he got another brother right across from him that ain't a coward. Van Jones is a coward. These people coward. All these people are cowards. I think this dude pretty cool when I see him talk. But most of these people are just sheep, man.
Yeah, the Waldy guy. Yeah, he's alright.
Whatever
He's
it
okay.
takes for them to be liked by you. Anyway, subscribe to the channel, get you one of these shirts.
Yeah, what is this video even on anyway? Maybe I can click it.
Dude,
understand
why some people moving forward into 2024, a couple of things are very, very clear. The nation.
Can I just ask you a question?
Not 2020.
Why they?
Oh, he must have got it from their actual website. I don't know. Because it's not showing me the title of that video. So I don't even know if I'll be able to find it. Probably took it down anyway. Well, at least he covered it. I just wish because he had like another 30 seconds or whatever at the very end.
Clear. The nation is a mess. Our border is overrun. Inflation is crippling every family. Republican, Democrat, Independent. Those are the facts of the matter. Not 2020. Not 2020.
Oh, I guess not.
Why they?
Never mind. Never mind. He went to the very end. 30. Okay. Yeah, he did. All right. Well, that's kind of stupid. Then I'd have been very curious to hear what he had to say after that because I know they kept going after him. And of course, I wasn't watching the channel live, so you know, if you ain't watching it live, they're just gonna cut you off and everything else. You know what I mean? And unless you're watching it cably live, you know what I mean? That's the only way you're gonna see the rest of it. You know? Because again, they don't want you to see that. Their bullshit narrative, they want to shove it down your goddamn throat. And if you don't freaking believe it, then they're gonna say, oh, misinformation. Lies. They're the lies. But he was facts all the way. Who cares about 2020? I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does in terms of if you want the integrity.
Hey, I'm James Gunn, the writer and director.
If you want the I hate it how YouTube does that. Where it just plays it when you're hovering over it. That's stupid. That's the thing I hate about Netflix because it does the same shit. When you're hovering over something, it plays it. It's like, just because I'm hovering over something does not mean I want you to play the frickin' thing. No, it's you know, I mean, in terms of the integrity part, it does matter, but in terms of, you know, what you think it was or wasn't, who cares? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he does. I'm sure he does, but he's not going to say it, which is smart because they're just going to be like, oh, so you think it was rigged? Okay, so you, yeah. So you believe the lies of Mr. Trump. That's what they're going to say. Or some stupid shit like that. Oh, so that's why you think the way you think. Shove it up your ass. Why would I believe a bunch of losers like yourself? Why would I? You know what I mean? Because you don't go for the facts. You never do. You never did, and you never will. Why? Because this guy's attacking you directly because you are part of the swamp. And because you are part of the swamp, you don't want to admit that what he's saying is actually real. Because if you do, then that makes you and all the rest of your assholes look bad. Because you are admitting that what he's saying is true. So of course, you're going to deny it and say that, no, that's not true. And you're going to keep denying it. And yeah, and that's just what you do. You know, I mean, it's common sense. And when people say, well, how do you know they're lying? Well, I mean, isn't it obvious? It should be very obvious. You know, it should be very obvious. If you stole, let's just say you had a jar of cookies and you weren't supposed to take any, and you took one cookie, or maybe you took 2 cookies, you know, and let's just say you did not want to get caught, you know what I mean? Why would you sit there and admit, or you know, why would you sit there and admit that you took the 2 cookies? Wouldn't you just try to lie your way out of it? You know, obviously the good person that wants to be truthful and honest are going to sit there and say, yeah, I took 2 cookies, or I took 1 cookie, whatever the case is. But the other person would sit there and try to lie their way out of it and say, no, I didn't take any cookies. I didn't take none. You know what I mean? And they're going to try every which way possible to get out of it, right? Well, right. So why would you sit there and admit it? You know? These people are not, they're not loyal. They never will be. You know? They believe in lies. They want you to feed their bullshit narrative. And they'll do everything they can to make you believe it. And that's just what they're going to do. and I'm not gonna believe.
When it comes to this interview, she should have just kept her mouth shut the entire time and let him talk.
Oh, I know.
Just let him talk. Like, don't back talk. Don't listen. Like you know, if you want to have an interview, don't respond to anything. Just let him talk. Like, you know.
Right, exactly. But no, see, she wanted to be like, no, but it's not true. It's not true. Well, how would you fucking know? You know, don't tell me, oh, well, you went to the senators and they told you this. Listen, you are not going to the actual where it's actually happening, and right there, you are going to a third party fucking someone else that's telling you this bullshit. That's what you're going to. Why would I believe you over him when he was the one that was actually there and telling the information on point? I'm going to believe his word over your word. You know, that's how you look at it. They only get he is inside the box, so he sees it. You know what I mean? She is outside the box, so she doesn't see it. You know what I mean? So that's how you have to look at it. The person that's inside the box is going to know so much more information than the dumbass that's outside of it. You know what I mean? In most cases, in terms of looking in. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, you might see some stuff looking in from looking out. But in this case, inside the box, you're going to know more. Because why would they want to share that information, right? You know what I mean? They want to keep it secret, right? And I know a lot of people like to, you know, denounce it. Well, why wouldn't these people admit that they changed the results? Or why would they want to admit that they cheated or anything like that? Well, why wouldn't they? Why, you know, that's the real question. Why would they admit that they cheated? Why would they? Because they are corrupt. So they don't want you to know. They want.
Nobody's going to admit
right.
to that. Let's go.
Yeah. Why would they? They are not loyal people. They don't care what you think. You know. That's what I state. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. They look at the Constitution. They give you the middle finger. They say, "Fuck the Constitution. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do." The Constitution to them doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean jack squat. You know, if they don't like it, they'll go against it. And they don't care. And when they, you know, and they will lie to get around it. And that's what they will do. Because they're not loyal to you. You know? They don't care about democracy. They really don't give a shit. You know? But what they do care is power. Power and control. That's all they give a shit about. And they want you to believe in that. So then that way, then you would vote for them over and over and over again. So then they can maintain power. And then they can control what they want you to do. You know, like buy electric cars and, you know, and control your heating and cooling and control how much TV you watch and all that other BS. You know what I mean? That's what they want, you know? And that's why I say they're a joke, you know? You know, they don't believe in the way we do things. And that's why I say piss on them. They're losers. You know, they shouldn't be in power. So that's why vote them out. Get them out of there. Cuz they're no good, you know? If you keep them in there, they're going to destroy what we have left of this country, and then we won't have nothing. You know what I mean? And then we will be at war. Actually and legitly. You know? And then it'll just be bad shit hell from there. You know, we might be taken out for that matter. You know, who knows? But you know, so that's how you gotta look at it. You know what I mean? And those people that listen to them, they're that stupid and naive, and they think, oh no, why would they do that? You know, but that's what happens when you only go one direction. You know what I mean? You're not gonna listen to anything else. You know, and that's why I can't stand talking to deniers. When you got, you know, as soon as if I give you evidence and you deny it, and the evidence is right there in front of your face, and you sit there and say, well, that's not evidence, or you try to say something else, well, that was proven wrong, or whatever like that, I'm gonna freaking turn away from you instantly, and I'm gonna give up on talking to you, because at that point I consider you a waste of my time. You know what I mean? No matter what I do, you're never gonna
Did you say
change.
that a similar situation happened to you at fucking where you were working, you know, at the gas station?
Gas station.
Remember, like, the guy was, like, flipping out. He was jumping like a rabbit because he was flipping out because you were trying.
Oh no, yeah, that was that. So that was when I was working at the car wash. Yeah. Oh yeah, he was a. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he was an immigrant. I think personally, probably was. Wouldn't shock me any. You know, did I go into it? You know what I mean in terms of trying to figure it out? Because I that's not my problem. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna go down that road because, again, not my problem. You know what I mean? If they get him, great. But, you know, I mean, if he seemed like a dumbass to me, so, you know, if he really was that, you know what I mean? They'll eventually get him at some point. You know, especially if too much attention gets to him. But oh yeah, no, he did not. He did not. He did not like it at all, man. He freaking went at me. I mean, he was chill at first, but as soon as as soon as I said one thing about Obama and said that he was trash, you know, that started pissing him off, and then that's when he started throwing a tantrum. And then you know, it's funny. You could definitely tell when the customer, because you know they had a customer come in, and she was laughing her ass off as I said, you know, I don't give a shit about Republican, I don't give a shit about liberal or anything, and he's fucking sitting there jumping up and down like a fucking moron, you know, crying and whining and pissing and fighting. You know what I mean? Because I'm spewing at facts, and he can't believe it. He can't stand it. You know what I mean? That I'm making him look like a clown. You know, the biggest moron on earth. You know, and yeah, freaking turn around, and here's the girl freaking laughing her ass off, being like, you know, and I could tell that she was on my side because I was just sitting here throwing facts. You know, I was just standing there being like, you know, this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and he's sitting over there jumping up and down like a fucking idiot. You know? Being like, no. And I just couldn't help myself, and I started laughing too, right at the end of it. You know, and then he had to go down there, and he's like, you know, fuck Trump, you know, fuck this, fuck that. I'm like, yeah, fuck you too. You can stick that shit right up your ass. You know, I didn't even want to talk about it, and you know, the freaking cashier idiot, he kept pushing it on and all that shit, and you know, he was just trying to egg on the situation. You know what I mean? I hate people who do that too. It's like, you know, and at that time, you know what I mean? I wasn't as knowledgeable as I was now. You know what I mean? But you know, I don't try to go too in description on it, because when it comes to like going in depth, I don't fully remember every detail. You know what I mean? I know a lot of it, but you know, there's only so much that you remember. You know what I mean? I'm not like what Brian is, where you can sit there and freaking just lay it out constantly. I mean, a lot of the shit was pretty simple that he laid out, but then there was a lot of stuff that he went into actual detail. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do that. You know what I mean? Because that shit, I'm just not good at doing that. You know what I mean? That's not my pro. You know what I mean? I would have to have a piece of paper written down exactly, because I would want you to actually state to you what exactly, how it went, and what exactly happened. And for me to put that in memorization, word for word, hell no, I wouldn't be able to do that. Because that's just too much. You know what I mean? Because usually in those conversations, it's a lot of freaking wording. You know what I mean? So there's no way I'm going to remember all that shit word for word. No freaking way. You know? I'm just not good at that. Me personally. I give credit to people that are able to do that. I do. Fully. Honestly and promisely. You know, Trump, he's very good at doing that, and I'll give him credit there. But even then, he had his piece of paper, because, you know, which he made her even look even more stupid, because he brought out more evidence to show that, yeah, see, it's in word. You know, so Van Cove, and people sign up for YouTube and other platforms just to expose the truth, but then they get silenced, right? And then we have people from Daily Wire trying to uncover what they don't want people to see. Right, exactly. And I've been seeing some information pop up too, that that investigation is going on with Biden and shit like that. You know, or I just retweeted a tweet which I will say the tweet right here, because I retweeted it. Breaking: the FBI has just been exposed regarding January 6th. They intentionally, in all caps, abused their power. Ha! See, you know what I mean? So this is why I don't, this is why I don't believe those bullshit liars, because they don't, they're corrupt. They are 100% corrupt, and he goes in full. I mean, look at this. It's freaking. I can't even read it all because it's literally like 2 pages long of information, of just constant. Again, if you're following me on Twitter, you can hit that tweet. I retweeted it, hit it, and you can see it all right there. I'm not gonna go through it because it's just so much information right there, but I went through the main part of it, So, but that's the problem when you got all these people that are into that bubble, you know what I mean? They're gonna stick together to the very end, because the issue is, it's kind of like dominoes. You knock one down, and they all go down. You know what I mean? So, if they go deep dive into this, they're all a part of the same shit. You know what I mean? So, it's kind of like you go after one, and so many others that are also a part of it, because everybody's trying to make money. You know what I mean? So, that's the situation here. It's all about making money. So, everybody has their hands in the cookie jar, trying to take that piece of pie, or part of that cookie, because they all want it. You know what I mean? And so that's why you got to get all those frickers out of there. If you go after the top people first, or I mean, either way you do it. It could be easier to start at the bottom and then work your way up. Or maybe it might be easier to start on the top. I mean, if you start on the top, then everybody below is going to fall apart. You know what I mean? But obviously, people like Clinton and all that, they're not easy to take down, because they make so much damn money. They're probably going to buy their way out of it. So that's the problem there. And of course they're trying to hide everything. You know what I mean? They're trying to delete everything, so then they won't be able to find anything on it. You know what I mean? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to run away from it as much as possible, so then nothing happens to them. And that's the BS part about it. You know what I mean? And then still trying to cause chaos. That's the problem. You wonder why I can't stand these people. And I give credit to people like Trump, because he does not give 2 fricks. He attacks them. He does not care what they say. He does not care what they think. You know what I mean? He's basically just telling them to shove it up their ass. You are corrupt fricks, and and I'm gonna take you out, and I do not care. And that's what makes it entertaining. But a lot of these Republicans should have that momentum. They should. They shouldn't be afraid. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Quit being afraid. Just be like Mr. T. Have some balls, will you? Freaking, what are they gonna do? Huh? They're gonna try to go after you on stage? That's just gonna make them look crazy. You know what I mean? And if you're that concerned about it, get some troops, get some soldiers protecting your ass, and there you go. And then your house will be protected. And if they do try to freaking come shoot you up, nah, those soldiers will take those frickers out. You know what I mean? Whatever the case is. If they're going to try that bullshit, you got to put the fear back into them. If you don't put the fear back into them, they're going to get away with it all day long. And they're going to keep on doing it. And that's how they roll. So you got to do it back. That's essentially what you got to do. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of these Republicans don't have the guts to do it, because they think, whoa, they're going to come and kill me then, or they're going to threaten me, or whatever. And that's the issue. And we've seen his performance on these people when he did the Apprentice. Right, yeah. Exactly. Well, you already know if they try to take Mr. T out, oh, war's gonna happen right away. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. People are gonna, we're gonna grab our guns and we're gonna start shooting them frickers down. You know, that's just what's gonna happen. That's realistic. World War III, here we are. You know, I mean that's because nobody's gonna take that shit. Nobody is. People are gonna be like, that's it, no more. We're done fucking around now. Time for you bastards to be done. And I'll join them. In that aspect. Hell yeah. But yeah. But yeah, it's it's ugly. You know what I mean? But you need to get some fresh people in there and start from scratch. And the only guy that's got the guts to do that is Mr. T. You know what I mean? I think Ron DeSantis, he's good, but I think he needs a little bit of a learning curve, just a little bit. And I think he'll be the polish upper. You know what I mean? The guy to keep things in the right direction. I believe that. You know what I mean? Now to get things there, I don't think so. You know, I mean, I'm not saying he won't be able to do it, but
Hey man, I'll see you.
all right, bye. But I don't know why he just leaves like that. Whatever. You know, but he's definitely. I think he'll definitely keep things in the right direction. I think. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be even surprised if Mr. T wins, gets this country back on a roll. You know what I mean? And then when that fourth year comes to an end, you know what I mean? He's going to pick another nominee. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks Ron DeSantis. You know what I mean? I would not be surprised if he picks Ron DeSantis. Or maybe he picks Brian over here, Brian Ronald, or Brian Donald. You know, picks him or whoever else. You know what I mean? But I do believe he'll pick somebody really good. Like I said, I do believe it might be Ron DeSantis, because maybe at that point, you know what I mean, he'll be good. You know, and I could definitely see that, you know, and I think that'd be great then. You know what I mean? Because then the country will be doing good, and then he can help him along the way or something like that, or you know what I mean, or give him an idea of, you know, keep the country good, you know what I mean, and go from there. You know, but I think to get Mr. T back in there to turn things around real fast, he's the guy to do it. You know what I mean? So, and nobody else could do it but him. At least not as fast as he's saying it's going to be. So he's a good negotiator, obviously. So I believe it. You know what I mean? I believe it. I believe it. So, what do you guys think? Let me know. So let me know. What the frick is this shit? I don't even know what that is.
Did you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Oh, this is my guy, Officer Tater, man. And I watch him have conversations with people who really don't like him. Really, he goes on the platforms of people who really don't like him, and they just trying to get like a sound bite so they can use it against him and for everything he stands for. And he still does it, toe to toe, mano y mano, and you know, it's always a good show. So shout out to that brother, man. He's fearless. I appreciate him. We don't agree on everything, but you know what I mean.
No, is this another one I came across? All right, so yeah, so no, that's the situation on. Appreciate the likes. So if something like this kind of happens again, I will definitely cover it for you guys and definitely go over it. Definitely, and
Oh my gosh, there is no way that this is real. So we just got a very exclusive clip for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny coming from Cannes. They decided to release this clip of all clips at Cannes Film Festival of this year to promote this film. And Disney, oh my gosh, Disney is just... They have gone completely off the deep end, and I can't even imagine if this is the clip they decided to show at Cannes, what the rest of the film is going to be. If they're trying to put their best foot forward with this clip, then oh my gosh, this is so insane. So let's get into all this here.
Jeez, I'm still gonna see it though. I'm still gonna see it. Indiana Jones 5, still gonna see it. Because my man is in it, so I want to see it. You know what I mean? So. And back then, the only woman he ever went after was Rosie O'Donnell. Right? God, freaking YouTube. I'm trying to get over. There we go. Do you guys want me to do another live stream or? On Until Dawn, maybe, or whatever, or I'm gonna wait. Or do you want me to wait until tomorrow night? Now 14 people say, yes, do it. Damn. Crazy. 12 people, oh, okay, I got another person for, Sure, I'm for another stream. Awesome. All right. Yeah, because I was going to do a Twitch stream, but I could save that for tomorrow night. And then I guess I could do two Twitch streams and then a YouTube stream or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I know Thursday, like I stated, I'm going to be going to Mr. Batman's house. And I'm not sure if I am... I'm not sure if I am going to do the Thursday stream at his, or I might just do it at mine. Probably should. You guys definitely want me to do a Q&A, so... You guys aren't subbed to Super Batman's channel, definitely do that. All right. Yeah, if you guys are down, then all right. something like that. Let me see here. Goodbye. Why does that pop up now? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense when I play Detroit Become Human, the fact that it doesn't let me show my camera. I have no idea what's the issue with that. I have no idea. But it's only that game. Every other game it works. So I don't understand. You know, I don't understand the issue. But the second game was Until Dawn. That was the second alternate game that you guys want me to pick. So that was the second one. I'm definitely happy I did this stream for you guys. You know, fire, hell yeah. You know, I was only a little bit concerned, you know what I mean? Because I know some people might be leaning more left or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to kind of, you know, de-picturate people, if you know what I mean. Because obviously I'm a Mr. T guy. I am all the way, but you know, but I got my reasons. And pretty much they're good reasons. His policies are the main. So yeah, Until Dawn. It's gonna be scary as shit to get back into this game. Huh. Nice and clean, like it should be. Like some Scrabble, that kind of stuff. I just hope it does not screw me over. %4 trophies, wow. I just hope that when I play this game, I won't have this problem. Okay, I don't. Great. Awesome. Glad to see it. It shouldn't be. Yes, I remember this older guy. Yes, and the new guy is like the cousin or something like that, or another form of This is going to be alternate choices. What's up, bad boy? Welcome to the stream. So yeah, I'm not too bad. How about you? No, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Sorry about that. I had to do something. Awesome. So yeah. So I'm gonna get Until Dawn ready to go here. Sorry, I'm watching Andromedia right now. That's free to watch YouTube. Oh, okay. No, you're good. You're good, brother. You're still somewhat staying with me, so you're fine. Darren Fox. Oh, okay, sure. Sure. Trying to watch Xena next. Oh, okay. Nice. Network error occurred. Network switches. The show Lucky Lawless used to star in. Oh, okay. Don't know about that one. Okay, my camera's still there. Got 9 PS5 games coming today. Really? Okay, I'm gonna end this stream and get this other one going. Bro, it better not take my camera away, man. It was grayed out the last time I looked at it. So, and that's why I'm just like, brother, you know, like don't do this shit to me. I mean, why would you be graying it out anyway? That I don't understand. Why would you gray it out? You better let me use my camera. Alrighty, so I'm gonna end the stream here, and I'm gonna go live with Until Dawn, and we're gonna rock and roll. So hope you guys do enjoy. Smash a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. So I will give the link to the channel that I watched the video in the description. So check that out. If you guys want to see the whole thing from beginning to end with no edits or any commercials or anything like that. You guys can see the CNN, the whole thing itself. So watch it there. It was definitely entertaining, for sure. But that's if you guys want to see it for you guys yourself. I can't promise that it's going to stay up forever. It's been 4 days, going on 5 now. That's been up, so maybe it might not get taken down. Might be all right. But can't promise anything. You know what I mean? It might eventually get taken down. Who knows? It's hard to really say, you know? So, yeah. But, anyways, I'm going to get this Until Dawn stream going, the alternate playthrough, or the alternate walkthrough, since it got voted the next majority for the second alternate walkthrough game. So I'm gonna get started on it. You guys definitely want to join in, we appreciate it. Be fire, be awesome. I'll do it for about an hour and a half or so, something like that. And then yeah, we'll be back with more content Wednesday night. With more fire content. So definitely do stay tuned for that. That's gonna be lit. So I'll probably have a stream or 2 live on Twitch, continuing Fallout 4 for an hour and 20 to an hour and 30, something like that, and then Resident Evil 4 continuation as well for another hour and 20 or an hour and 30, so, or something like that. So stay tuned. We got some fire content. Follow me on Twitch. Stay notified when I do go live. Got some fire content the rest of this week. Check out my second channel for his reviews. Link in the description. Let's try to crush 50 subs. I'll be fire. I'm at 25 right now. Subscribe to Super Batman's channel. Link is in the description. He's at 24. Let's help him get to 40. Link is always down there. Obviously, follow me on Twitch. Social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, True Social. Links are in the description. So check them all out. Or check the ones that you do have and are on. Check them out. At least stay up to date with me all the time. You already know. All that good stuff. And so that way you guys can stay up to date with me all the time with the channels, polls, DM me, all that good stuff. And so that way you guys can stay informed. And all that other good stuff. So, and far more in-depth information too. So anyways, I'm going to end it here. Appreciate you guys liking. It'll definitely tell me to do more of these type of things in the future. So definitely do stay tuned. And if more do happen, you already know. Your boy, Mr. Ray's, will be on top of it. So, anyways. I'll see you guys in the next one. Over here. Sign out. Peace. Everyone, guys. Much love. Stay safe. Another stream coming up. Stay tuned. Stay safe.